This is East Carolina Offensive Coordinator Donnie Kirkpatrick. We are talking one of my favorite things, Pirate football, on the Sports Objective, the official, unofficial podcast of the Pirates.
Where it is a first down. Pirates.
Yeah. My heart is purple and gold. I'm a pirate down to my soul. And I don't back down, not at all. Find out when the cannons explode. From the sidelines down to the post. Put it down like not even close. All out to the last whistle blow. From the flag with the soul and crossbones. Everybody stand up, get your hands up. That a team.
Welcome in to the Sports Objective. A very special show is Crew XXII, the 2022 East Carolina recruiting special. It's going to be a great night, folks. Go ahead and drink your coffee. This will be, I can go ahead and say, a long show, but that's why we call it a special, a very special night. With us right now, we have Kyle from LaGrange Barber. How are you?
What's going on, guys? Good to welcome the signing class to East Carolina. Hopefully, they'll have a lot of success and build on what these guys started this year, get to a bowl game, and hopefully we won't go another 7 years before we go to another bowl game, and these boys will go to a bowl every year they're here.
Don't even talk like that. Bubba Rosenbaum, what's up, dude?
Not a whole lot, guys. I'm just been, watching a little football this afternoon and getting ready for the show, watching some film, and yeah, tremendous class signed by Mike Houston staff. Really looking forward to catching up with some of these guys and talking about the relationship they developed with Coach Houston as well as their position coaches.
And welcome a guy that I don't think is excited at all about the show tonight. I'm talking about former linebacker under Coach Logan. That's Matt Semenza. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, guys, and I am really fired up about this show. I really enjoy recruiting and sort of evaluating these classes, and really happy with what our coaching staff was able to do here. I think Mike Houston's a guy that understands you have to build the foundation first on the interior D line and offensive line, and he addressed the defensive line 2 years ago, and this year he really addressed the offensive line in a big way. So I'm really excited to talking about it tonight.
No doubt about it. A guy that knows a lot about Pirates, and of course ESPN football analyst. He played under John Thompson and Skip Holtz tight end, and that would be Jay Sonnhalter. Jay, how are you, man?
What's up? I'm great, guys. Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to talking with you guys.
Yeah, I'm surprised you would even come on the show with us. You're on ESPN Plus. You and Patrick Johnson, another great one of our friends. And what a great atmosphere back on Wednesday with a big signing class, and one of the only schools to do it. I was really surprised at that, especially with a group of five. And you guys, you and Patrick, hey, my hat's off to you. You guys nailed it.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I mean, it was an awesome crew, and the whole setup from our ESPN Plus, the Pirate team, Will Bailey, Greg Pierce, everybody involved did an awesome job just behind the scenes, graphics, sound, the visuals behind Dottie Ficklin behind us. So it was an awesome day. And I mean, there really was, we'll talk about, but really so much excitement, on campus that day with the luncheon at Harvey Hall, and then us being able to have that broadcast and the team behind us. It was a job well done by everyone.
Yeah, and if you haven't watched it, it's still available on ESPN Plus. Watch it at your convenience. Jay Sonnhalter and Patrick Johnson. They interview the coordinators, John Gilbert, several people, break down the class like we're going to do tonight. So after you listen to this and watch this, go on ESPN Plus and watch Jay and Patrick do their thing.
No question about it. I was thinking about today, guys, this afternoon, getting ready for the show, the very fact of the last few years, this is one of the only things that we had to just cling on to, is that the hope that one day we could right the ship, one day that we could have a winning season again. We have that right now. The excitement I have now, guys, as you see that Mike Houston's building this thing, he's building it the right way. I just put the coffee cup in the microwave to microwave my coffee, and I was like, thank God Mike Houston didn't microwave this class. And I think if my memory serves me right, guys, off the top of my head, I'm not the numbers guy, but Coach Houston's talking about the way that he wants to do things, which I think I'm old school, is high school recruiting. Yes, you got to pay attention to the transfer portal, but I believe out of this class, there's only 3 out of the 18. So very happy with that. I have no problem with the transfer portal or graduate transfers, but really happy with still going grassroots player development that Coach Houston is excellent at, right, Matt?
No doubt about it. And I'll give Coach Houston credit because he has a vision of what he wants this program to look like, and he did from day one. And he wants to be able to run the football. He wants to be physical up front. He wants to play great defense. And, I think what you see here is you look at the running backs, and we're about to have one on here soon in Nemo Squire. We brought in some excellent running backs, some quick guys, some sturdy guys, and then also address that offensive line. And I think, right now we're getting to the point where when Coach first got here, he had to build this thing from scratch. And now every year, it's going to get a little bit better and better. And really excited about this class.
Guys, no question. Jay, let's we want to give you an opportunity because you've obviously had your special again on ESPN Plus. We're going to mention that a lot of times tonight to make sure that people watch that. Great stuff. But what were your first impressions of this class? Let's go ahead and start painting the picture, as they say in broadcasting.
Yeah, well, I think the impressions for me was obviously they loaded up on the offensive line. So they wanted to create more depth and then bring in competition and try to upgrade the O-line. And then after the O-line, I mean, you just kind of see each position group sprinkled in with a couple guys here or there, and then a couple junior college guys coming in as well. So you could kind of see the guys they were looking towards potentially making an immediate impact. And then this class wasn't huge in numbers. And I think that's also because, there's still going to potentially be a couple guys signed, some transfer portal guys as well. So I think this class as it stands isn't done yet.
Yeah, Jay, as you look at it numbers wise, that's one of the things that stands out. Like you say, it's not a very big class. It is on the smaller side, but you had a nice representation from not only the state of North Carolina, but then also Georgia, Virginia, South Carolina, and there were like 7 or 8 different states represented in those 18 signees. And that was something that stood out to me, as well as the emphasis on the offensive line. It may be as many as 7 in the class. There's still 1 or 2 that are still out there making the decision.
Yeah, I think there's still going to be guys, potentially down the road here, high school guys, but portal guys. And I know that, they're going to keep some scholarships open, and you never know what will happen with our current team after the bowl. So I still think there's going to be a lot of movement. As far as numbers coming in, a couple more guys coming in. The other thing that was just interesting to me was you look at most of these guys, and most of these guys camped last summer at East Carolina. So they saw most of this class in person. And then also too, it's about relationships. And a lot of these guys, either have former teammates that played at ECU or there's a connection with the coaching staff. So those are a lot of things that kind of interested me when I was looking over the whole class and where everybody came from.
Yeah, Jay, I think that's a great point, is when you have the ability to bring players in and see them in camp, it makes all the difference, because, you can look at huddle highlights, you can talk to coaches, you can look at stats, but nothing beats the in-person evaluation you can get from seeing players on the field at your own camp, where you can talk to them, you can get to know their personalities, you can see how they play on the field up front. So I think that's a great point. And I think the more we can continue to do that and get players in camp, the more successful we'll be.
Matt, you and Jay both, and Bubba, you also, all 3 of you guys play college football. When you're evaluating players in camp, back when you guys were players, how important is it to watch a guy's personality and how he interacts with other players and coaches? I mean, to see how respectful he is, how well he gets along with others. How much is that a part of it?
For me, it's everything, because, everybody on the team has talent. All these recruits have talent. The ones that are going to be successful are going to be the ones that work the hardest, are good teammates, and also, kind of stay healthy, but also survive college. And when I mean that, when these guys, a lot of guys get to college, there's a lot of distractions, and some guys fall to the distraction. So the ones that are the most successful are the ones with the work ethic and the personality. And that's why it's so important to bring in good people.
Yeah, one of the things that you always hear coaches say is talk about building relationships with these young men. And yeah, to some coaches that may be lip service, but to the excellent recruiters, it isn't. And what I mean by that is, not only do they get to know the student athletes themselves, but they get to know their coach. They get to know their teachers. They get to know even the custodians at the school and cafeteria workers. They're asking questions on getting as much information as they can to get a read on these young men and their character. So they know whether they're bringing a quality person into their program or if it's someone who could be a cancer.
No question about it, guys. In fact, we'll be talking to coaches and players all night long. If you're just joining us, we're doing the Crew 22 2022 East Carolina Recruiting Special. And Bubba, I know we have our very first guest.
Yeah, right now, very excited to be joined by a very talented running back. We'll go down to the state of South Carolina and bring in Nemo Squire. Nemo, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Nemo, welcome into the show. Very excited to have you on. Thank you, first of all, for being a Pirate. I guess the first question is, why did you choose to come to East Carolina and Greenville?
Man, why not ECU? When it comes down to the fan base and the type of football that ECU produces, and just what Coach Mike Houston is doing, and the type of person he is, man, you'll fall in love with that man just by holding a conversation. And he most definitely gave me this opportunity that I won't take for granted. So I would say, man, ECU is that place, and you're missing out if you're not a part of Pirate Nation. So.
I like it. Nemo, we're so happy to have you in the program. Just taking a look at your high school career, you were, according to what I'm reading here, a 4-year varsity starter, over 4,000 yards rushing. That's a tremendous accomplishment. Nemo, what do you think your best assets are as a running back?
I never have to come off the field. In every aspect, I'm a every down back. I'm a guy who can get those tough 2 yards. But I'm also a guy who can stay in front of the chains and get your 10 yards and possibly make it a thing of excitement for you to break an 80-yard run every now and then to show some speed and show some versatility in that aspect, but also being able to catch and run routes like a wide receiver too. I feel like it adds to who I am as a running back. So there's a lot of things that I'm bringing to the table as a back, especially with versatility. And being able to never come off the field, as well as blocking. So I'm not afraid to stick my nose in there and pick up those blitz linebackers, coming off the edge as well as defensive ends. So, just being able to do that adds to my game. So,
Nemo, you mentioned catching the ball out of the backfield. How much of that did you do at high school? And that's always something I love, man. When you can get the running backs involved in the passing game, to me that completely changes the offense.
Man, Coach Roller is a great coach who had a spread offense and who ran it in a strategic way. So being able to go out and run routes and stuff like that, it was a lot of packages that he was able to put in with empty backfield as well as me running different routes out the backfield. It brought a different dynamic to what we do in Dillon. So I ran a lot of routes, especially this past year. I caught more this year. This past year than I've had in the past. And being able to do that, it brings a whole different dynamic to the offense. And it gives that other team who is preparing for you a little bit more trouble when it comes down to coverages and things like that and being on one-on-one with their linebackers and stuff. So, yes, sir.
Now, Nemo, I know earlier this year on East Carolina's season opening loss, but a play in that game with Keaton Mitchell. What a year Keaton had, rushing for more than 1,000 yards. And, Keaton made so many plays catching the ball out of the backfield, and he took it to the house early against the Mountaineers, a little over 60 yards.
Yeah, so, man, Keaton's one of those guys that I do most definitely look up to. With the type of game that he does have, as well as Rajay. I was able to have a good relationship with Rajay being when he was in high school and being 2 South Carolina natives going to ECU. We connected on that end. But yeah, man, Keaton is one of those guys who's very electric, a very explosive back, who will really dissect your defense in the way that you would never expect. And so I really do look forward to be behind those guys and glean from those guys in their game and the way they play. So,
Nemo, what about our offense appealed to you? I mean, it is a run-first offense. They try to be balanced 50-50, but it is a run-first offense. So I would imagine as a running back, that has to be very appealing.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I have that great relationship with Coach Foster, and knowing that it is a run first offense, it does give you an opportunity to be able to put the team on your back at times and make things happen and make plays. But also with the passing game and the great quarterbacks that ECU do produce, I think it's going to be very interesting and it's going to be something to see, with everything coming together and just the group of wide receivers that we have in this 2022 class. It's going to be amazing for the passing game to even elevate too, as well as the running game.
Now, Nemo, I know this won't mean anything to you because obviously this guy played for the Pirates well before you were even in this world. But Jason Tindall, diehard Pirate fan and longtime high school coach for about 2 decades in the state of North Carolina, he chimed in on YouTube saying that Nemo reminds me so much of Junior Smith. I mean, for Pirate fans, and they remember Junior Smith from 92 to 91 to 94, I should say. Just 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. That's all Junior Smith did, and what a career he had in the purple and gold. And that's an excellent comparison, Jason, because I remember watching Nemo's film way back when you committed, and there's definitely some similarities there.
Oh yeah, that's always a huge honor to be able to receive those type of compliments. I would most definitely have to go check him out.
Nemo, if you have the success Junior Smith did, you will go down just like Junior did as an all-time Pirate great.
And a Hall of Famer, right, for the Pirates.
Yeah. That would be a blessing.
No doubt.
No doubt. What do you think about, obviously, coming into the program? The program had hard times, but this was a year that the Pirates, no doubt, will have a winning season. You got to feel good knowing that you've made the choice not only to be a Pirate, but you have a chance now to be a part of something really special with Coach Houston, what he's building here at East Carolina.
Yes, most definitely. Coach Houston knows what he's doing, and he's confident in his guys. And one thing I can say about Coach Houston, he's a faith-based guy, and that's one thing that draws me to him, and having that faith and knowing who God is, and just allowing your team and that aspect to show amongst your guys. It does help the team, and it corrals the guys and the relationships that they have together to be able to produce, and also the foundation that he's building. It's amazing, and what he's doing in this recruiting process as well. I have been following ECU football for a few years, so to see the ups and downs in the program and seeing how Coach Houston is doing things, it really gives me a certain level of certainty and a comfortability in the program. To know that I'm walking in that, and that there's more great things to come from the program, and that we're not done yet with growing in Pirate Nation. So,
yeah. Piggybacking off what you're saying, Nemo, as far as following the program in recent years throughout your high school career, I know that's something. University of South Carolina, obviously you're familiar with those guys, being from the state of South Carolina. So earlier this year, and we really felt like we should have won that ball game. So I know, seeing the Pirates compete with an SEC opponent and really should have beaten an SEC opponent, I know that was something that I'm sure that you could relate to.
Most definitely, that was huge. I was actually on my official visit when they played South Carolina. So the whole feel of that and getting the whole game day aspect and how that was being in that close to sold out crowd, that was amazing. It was an amazing atmosphere to be in, and just knowing that the way the team was built and what Coach Houston did with that team to be able to come out and play that type of ball on that level, it showed a lot, and it gave people something to look forward to for this 2021 season. And so now you see them not only having a winning season, but able to have the opportunity to play in a bowl game next week.
Nemo, you mentioned earlier about your faith. What's your Pirate Nation know about Nemo off the field? You obviously are a religious man, and what are your other interests?
Yes,
What's
sir.
Nemo like off the field?
Well, I'm a man of faith, like I said. I'm a very family oriented person. With that aspect, I'm a hardworking young man. But one of the things I do know that is that God has given me a purpose here on earth to do what I need to do and an intentional aspect. And everything that I do, God is going in the forefront, and I'm here to be a light to others and continue to carry my leadership qualities, not just from high school but on to college as well. So that atmosphere that I see where I can grow in, from Coach Mike Houston being a faith-based guy, as well as Coach Foster, those two great men who are going to have an impact on my career, being a Pirate. It made a difference with me and my family, as well as my parents, knowing that they're giving their son to a program where he can grow as a young man in every aspect, not just on the field, but off the field as well.
Nemo, one quick question. I see you're listed right now around 190 pounds. So you're already at a great weight for college football. Is that an accurate weight? And I'm just curious, where do you kind of see yourself winding up? Do you feel like that's the weight you want to stay at? Do you see yourself getting up to 200 pounds?
Personally, yeah, I am 190 pounds right now. I'm a little over being that the season is over with, and I'm able to kind of work out a little bit more and spend more time in the weight room and building my body up in a nutritional aspect, making sure that I'm getting the right calories and things like that in every day. I'm a little over 190 right now, but I do see myself being a 200-pound back easily, and maybe in the next few years, maybe over a little 200 pounds explosive back. So I do look forward to that type of growth as well.
Nemo, one of the common trends in recent years is mid-year enrollees. Will you be enrolling mid-year, or will you be coming in the summer?
Yes, sir. I will be most definitely in Greenville in January.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And really appreciate your time this evening. And I know before we let you go, is there any message you have for Pirate Nation?
Man, I look forward to the next few years of being a Pirate, and and just bringing a different aspect to what Pirate Nation is, and just allowing the fan base to be even the more livid to the great plays that I will have the opportunity to make, and just the opportunity that I'll be in to be able to help the team flourish and make it to some more bowl games.
All right, Nemo, thank you so much. Thank you for becoming a Pirate. Look forward to seeing you in Greenville in January and beyond, and certainly most definitely in spring ball and beyond.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all.
All right, hope you have a great night.
Great first impression.
Love Nemo. That was fantastic for sure. And Bubba, another special guest just joining us. We're going to do Crew 22, the 2022 East Carolina recruiting special right here on the Sports Objective. And Bubba, very excited to have our next guest.
Yeah, very excited right now. Sticking with the state of South Carolina from Lake City High School, edge rusher that the Pirates are bringing into the program, Jamarion Franklin. Now we're joined by his head coach, Ronnie Baker. Coach Baker, we appreciate your time this evening.
No problem, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be on.
No doubt, Coach. You obviously, being the head coach, know about your player. Can you give Pirate Nation, give us an opportunity, inside look at your player coming to Greenville to East Carolina?
Jamarion Franklin is a 6'5", 230-pound edge rusher. He can play with his hands on the ground. He can also play standing up. He started out for us actually as a 6'3", 190-pound quarterback and safety. The pandemic hit, and he came back 6'5", 230, and we put his hands in the ground, and the rest is history.
Coach, you know what? It's a great point. When I watched Jamarion on film, I noticed the exact same thing. You had his hand in the ground quite a bit, and it looked like on occasion he was standing up as well. And what kind of jumped out at me was his frame. I mean, he just has a big, big frame. And, you know, what are your thoughts when you kind of project him down the road in college football? I mean, do you think he has the ability to get up to, 260, 270 pounds and be sort of like an every down defensive end? How do you see that playing out?
I think he can easily get to 260, 270 pounds. He's very trunkish, so you can see the weights in his hips and in his thighs, but his frame up top he has the ability to put up more weight up top. And once he gets that good college nutrition and that, that elite level training in the weight room, I think there's no problem with him getting to 260, 270 pounds.
Coach, from an aspect of being a high school football coach and in these college coaches coming in and recruiting your players, what kind of relationship do you have with the different head coaches and assistant coaches from Division I, FCS, Division II, Division III universities, and how important is it for you to form a relationship with those coaches to kind of look out for your players so they know what they're getting into?
Well, it's important that you always, put your best foot forward when presenting your high school football program, and also presenting your players to these different institutions. And we do our best at Lake City, to form those positive relationships, and also get our kids prepared, for each time they meet a coach, because it's just like a job interview. So we try to teach these kids to be well spoken, be very mannerable, and also to be engaging when they speak to each coach.
No doubt. Can you talk about his play, about us being on the line, and about maybe the maturity you were talking about? That's amazing change. He had not only body, but position, everything. Can you talk about his maturity from the time he's this quarterback and all of a sudden going from quarterback to defensive lineman? That's a big change.
Yeah, and Jamarion, is really when I first got to Lake City, this is my third year as the head coach at Lake City. And when I got there, Jamarion was coming out of his freshman year. And he was told he was just a basketball player. He needs to just play basketball. But we convinced him to come out for football. And like I say, he started off as a backup quarterback and a free safety his sophomore year. But Jamarion really took to the weight room and really took his training seriously, took football seriously. He's a very intelligent young man. He always had good grades. And what you're not even really getting a polished project with Jamarion. Jamarion has a lot of growing to do as far as his play, but he has so many tools that it's going to be exciting to watch him transform and possibly be an All-American at East Carolina.
Yeah, that's one of the things, Coach, that really jumped out about what Coach Mike Houston said. He said, yes, he is a bit raw, but at the same time, just immense athleticism, and he's, just so excited that he's a part of the Pirate program.
No doubt. Once we moved in to the front seven, moving from free safety to defensive end, like you said, it's a big jump. But Jamarion showed early on in the process that when he gets down in that front seven, he'll bite. He will bite. He's good on the line of scrimmage. He's got the physical tools, and he's also physical at the point of contact.
Not to get up on a tangent, guys, but Matt, you may remember this, especially since he came right after your time. Do you remember the name? Was it Kevin Ward? I believe he came in as a quarterback, and then he became a linebacker.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and no doubt about it, Bubba. I think East Carolina has a really good history of recruiting guys that, necessarily what they are coming out of high school might not be what they're going to be 2 or 3 years from now, right? After they redshirt, you develop them. And we've had a lot of great players like that over the years. And I see, Jamarion with that frame, I mean, sky's the limit. I mean, you can do so much with a frame like that. And I see so much room for growth, so much potential with a player like that. So absolutely. I think it's a great addition to the program.
Coach, how many players did you have sign on signing day to Division I, Division II, et cetera, besides Franklin?
To the early signing day, we only had Jamarion, but we do when the February signing date come around, we still have 2 kids that are being highly recruited.
Coach, one of the things I'm excited about with Coach Houston, as you probably know, being a coach, is the job that he and his staff do a great job with player development. You were talking about Jamarion. I think that he's going to be a great fit into our program for the fact that Coach Houston and his staff, it's not like they expect him to come in and play Division I football and just go out there, just roll out the balls. He actually he actually will teach and obviously the position players as well, coaches as well, really teach him the game at that level.
I tell you, I really feel like this is my 25th year as a football coach here in South Carolina, and Coach Doust and Coach Tesh, they did what I would say one of the best jobs at coming in and recruiting. Those two guys, along with Coach Houston, of course, but Coach Doust and Coach Des, they did a great job in forming a relationship with Jamarion and the whole Lake City program.
Coach, general question for you. You mentioned the early signing period that we just wrapped up, and the traditional signing period in February. From a high school coach's standpoint, what do you think about the early signing period? I'm not against an early signing period. I just don't like where it is. So we had Sammy Baton on the other night, North Carolina recruiting expert, and I kind of agree with him. I'd like to see it pushed back to the summer. Do you agree with that? Are you happy with where it is, or as a high school coach, or does it matter to you?
I like where it is for the fact that the recruiting can be very unpredictable. With the portal being full, and with the unpredictability of it, I've had kids in the past that have had offers from D1, and at the drop of a dime, that coach will call and say, you know what, we think we're going to go in another direction. So that early signing period kind of gives that kid security that, they can go ahead and sign that letter of intent and be locked in, and then they can go ahead and concentrate on the training, concentrate on being a student, and then getting ready for the college level. It can get stressful before you sign that letter of intent, just because everything is an audition and everything's an interview, and it's very unpredictable.
Coach, thank you so much for coming on tonight, and you gave us carving out some time, and we'll let you get back to your family, and certainly all the best for Christmas and Happy New Year. Love to have you back on the show sometime soon.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
No doubt. Thanks, Coach. And Bubba, Bubba's been working very hard. I want to, first of all, before we go to our next guest, thank you for all your hard work over the last few days to put this special together as we're doing Crew 22, the 2022 East Carolina recruiting special. And Bubba, very excited to have our next, one of the new signees for this latest class.
Yeah, no doubt, Dave. We already caught up with Nemo Squire from down in South Carolina, tremendous running back. He's not the only excellent back in this class. Right now, let's go out to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and catch up with Marlon Gunn. Marlon, how are you?
I'm doing all right, Coach. How y'all doing?
Doing great, Marlon. Hey, when I saw that you committed, I'll never forget, and I saw where the state, obviously, Baton Rouge. I was like, man, this kid is very special. I looked at obviously your film back at that point, and I was saying this kid could go to Louisiana, you could go to LSU, different places. We're very excited to have you. What made you decide East Carolina, Greenville, North Carolina?
When I went out there on my visit, it was fun. Like, it was different. It was something I wasn't used to. So, I was like, man, this might be the place to be. And, I caught up with Nemo and his parents. They was like, if that's what you feel, then that's most likely, what it's going to be. So I was like, okay. So about 2 weeks after that, I had committed. And then, the atmosphere, the game, oh, my goodness, it was crazy. I had never seen nothing like it. And then just, the fan base around the town, it's a small town. So, it's, football, you know what I'm saying? That's all they know is, football seemed like. So, it was like that's the place to be.
So, Marlon, were you at the South Carolina game? Was that the game you came to?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you got the atmosphere of playing an SEC school. Growing up in Baton Rouge, obviously you grew up probably watching a lot of LSU football. So how impressed were you to see East Carolina? As we think we should have won that game. I really believe we were the better football team.
Definitely. Those guys play hard that game. That was literally all the way to the end, never give up game. That was really impressive. I really like that about that game. Yeah. But just it was different because, like you said, grew up watching the LSUs and, things like that. It was just totally different. It was different.
Marlon, when you look at Coach Houston, he wants to run the football. He was mentioned earlier in the program, I think it was Kyle, he really is a run-first guy. And he's proven that, you can have multiple backs in this system and be very productive. You look at Rajay Harris right now. You look at Keaton Mitchell, two guys, very, very productive, explosive players. And then you look at this class. I see you, Marlon. You're listed at 5'10", 200 pounds, 4'5", 40. So again, I see two more guys that have the ability to be a tandem for the future here at East Carolina. What are your thoughts on just being a running back in this type of system and getting a lot of carries?
I'm ready to bring, my talent to the table, Just like everybody eating, everybody got their time, When my time comes, just do what I got to do, Not rushing anything, That's what they got the saying for, good things come to the ones who wait, So when it's my time to do what I got to do.
Marlon,
No
I
doubt.
believe you were one of the last guys to sign on signing day. I think you got a late offer from Cal. At least that's what was reported. So were you were you locked in on East Carolina the whole time? Did you get tempted by the Pac-12 school or what?
I'd say, yeah, a little bit. I was like, when I had went on my visit out there, I was like, dang, this might be it. But I'm like, nah, it was so much to it. Cause like recruiting, like I tell younger guys, like recruiting, everybody had the dreams to go play at the Alabamas and the Georgias and the LSUs and all that. But deep down inside, you just got to know, what I'm saying, what's best for you. So like, that was like, dang. And then when I signed, me and my mom had talked about it. And I was like, man, I made, a good move. I made a good move. And then she was like, if you feel good, then I feel good. And it's just been that ever since.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you this. I can guarantee you this. Greenville might be a lot different than Baton Rouge, but it's definitely more similar to Baton Rouge than Berkeley.
Yeah, just a little, But no, Marlon, Kyle mentioned Cal. I know, at least according to 24/7 Sports, you had offers from the likes of Virginia, Florida State, ACC, SEC programs, Pac-12, like Kyle had already mentioned. So one of the things we get sick and tired of hearing is, the P5, Group of Five discussion, because we know as a program in East Carolina what we bring to the table. And we know the type of football program we have been in the past and that we're currently on our way back to being with a season like we have this year and even better seasons in the future when you're a Pirate. So just talk about that atmosphere like you saw at South Carolina. And to be honest with you, as good as it was that day, it was nothing like it's been before and it will be in the future.
Yeah, I'm just ready, because me being in the stands, I might get a different experience on the field, as a player. It might be like in the stands, you're like, dang, there's a lot of people. But on the field, you're like, man, playing in front of all these people is like, dang. So, I'm just ready for the experience altogether, just everything, college, football, life itself.
No doubt about it. In fact, we were telling Nemo earlier in the show, Marlon, obviously both of you guys be in the running back room, but you guys both have a tremendous opportunity. Now the program's turning around. Coach Houston has definitely a winning season, maybe even if we win the bowl game, 8 wins on the year, 8-5 season. You have a chance now where you guys can be winning conference championships. You can be the likes of maybe what I'm excited about, along with these guys on this show and the panel, is we have a chance to do something we've never done before with the group of guys coming in. And you're another addition, another example of where we can win conference championships, New York Six Bowls. Who knows what's possible for this group of this class?
Yeah, so we as far as the bowl go, I want to say congratulations, thank, what am I trying to say? Oh, yeah, good luck to, y'all in the bowl game. That's where I was going. Good luck to them in the bowl game. We'll start off with that. But, when we come, just add more to the table, win a couple, win more bowl games, whatever else, championships, anything when we get there, when it's our time. Set it, finish off what those guys left for us.
Marlon, with a last name like Gunn, did you have a cool nickname in high school? I mean, there's got to be. I mean, that just writes nicknames. There's got to be a good nickname for it.
Gunn, that's it. That's what that Gunn. That was it. 26 or Gunn. That was it. That was my name in school.
All right, well, that works. Gunn, simple enough.
Right.
Now, Marlon, since you've committed here as a running back, we appreciate any help you can provide recruiting some talented offensive linemen down there in Louisiana. This way we can get you a ton of yards and we can continue moving forward in the offense. So any help you can provide there would be great. What are your thoughts I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the offensive line class we brought in. We brought in 6 offensive linemen in this class. Have you had a chance to check any of those guys out?
No, I haven't actually checked them out, but when I seen Coach, Coach Foster had talked up or whatever. He said those were pretty good dudes, and they size was real nice, so it'll be a good line to run behind. So I'm just ready for it.
Marlon, what do we need to know about you off the field? What do you like off the field? What are you into? What are some of your interests?
I know how to cut hair. I'm into music. I love music, and that's about it. And I do some community service too. I like that.
What are you listening to right now?
Do I have to tell y'all?
Yeah, you don't have to.
I listen to a lot of like old Boosie and stuff. I listen to a lot of that and like old school music and stuff. Yeah.
How old school to you?
It was old school to me, like the Jill Scott, the like the Currency and stuff like that, like chill, laid back music, like the Luther Vandross, Alexander, and people like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
That's very cool. Very cool.
Need to introduce him to B Pays, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll love B Pays. He's a regular as far as listener viewer, but broadcaster. In fact, lives in Raleigh, but broadcasts in Atlanta now. So really happy for him. He's about my age, and we've been a part of broadcasting like for many, many years. But
old school hip hop genius.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's awesome. Yeah, you'll love when you meet him. Well, Marlon, thank you so much for coming on, man. We'll let you go, and looking forward to having you as a Pirate. Thank you for choosing for us, and I know Pirate Nation is going to be very excited to have you in the purple and gold coming in 2022.
Yes, sir. I'm excited.
All right. Have a good night, man. Very excited there to have Marlon Gunn and Bubba. I know as we're doing the Crew 22 East Carolina recruiting special continues. We've been working hard the last few days. Appreciate it, Bubba, very much on that. And know we're going to go to our next guest.
Yeah, we've already touched on how many offensive linemen are in this class, how that was one of the emphasis for Coach Houston and this staff on Coach Shank. And right now, let's go down to the state of Florida and welcome in from the IMG Academy and their national team, and that's Ethan Lang. Ethan, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you guys for having me.
No doubt. Appreciate you coming on. And as someone who obviously loves football like myself, and we've been covering the Pirates for a number of years now, really excited to have you. Especially one of the things that jumped out at all of us is the fact that the coaching staff made a real commitment to, as Matt was mentioning, to the offensive line this year. And I just want to get your take on Coach and obviously the coaching staff and what made you decide East Carolina.
Definitely excited about what they're trying to do. I saw it over the summer, and the season went pretty much how I expected. Going to a bowl game, got a lot of good things going for us. Holton's coming back. A whole bunch of guys are coming back, so hopefully next year we can repeat it.
Ethan, you played IMG Academy. Talk about IMG Academy, what that is exactly, et cetera.
Yeah, so IMG Academy is a boarding school in Florida. I'm originally from New Jersey. I played at Bergen Catholic for my freshman and sophomore year, and then I decided to go down to IMG Academy. And, we had professional coaches, guys that have played in the league. I don't know if any of you guys are Eagles fans, but Trey Thomas, he big-time left tackle for the Eagles for, I think, 9 years. He ended up being my coach, and that's pretty awesome to me.
Ethan, I got to jump on this for a second. I know you mentioned you're a Jersey guy. I'm a Jersey guy. I played at East Carolina. I don't know if you know this. We have a rich history of some really, not myself, but many other talented guys that went to East Carolina from New Jersey. Scott Harley comes to mind, a great running back we had here.
Dan Gonzalez.
Dan Gonzalez. I mean, the list goes on and on. Ethan, what town did you grow up in New Jersey?
I grew up in a town called Montville, not to be confused with Montvale. And seeing all that stuff it gets me excited. Hopefully, I can be one of the next big guys from New Jersey.
No doubt. And Bergen Catholic is a well-known program in New Jersey, a great program that's always top 5, top 10 in the state. So certainly you have a great pedigree coming from a program like that, and then also IMG Academy. What do you think is your natural position as you look forward to college?
I think naturally I'm moving more towards center. As I've gone up in levels of playing football, I started out at tackle, and pretty much every year I've been moving more inside, just because of my size and the way I look at the game. I think helps me a lot when I'm trying to play center. Reading defenses, reading safeties, all that kind of stuff really helps. So I'm pretty excited, and I'll be playing center at ECU.
Now, Ethan, as Matt mentioned, he being from New Jersey, of course you knew that. You've heard of Matt Semenza. You grew up going to high school in New Jersey. Everybody talked about the legendary Matt Semenza. Is that really what made you come to East Carolina, just knowing Matt Semenza played here?
No doubt, Kyle. No doubt.
No, actually, So I got sorry. So I got.
Don't feel bad, Ethan. It's all good, man.
Dave Blake and Ernie Logan are actually two of my coaches, so they really talk highly of ECU. And as soon as I got the offer and I came down to visit, they were pretty much on me about hey, come be great at ECU.
That's awesome. Pirates everywhere. And who else? Where else did you consider, Ethan? What were the other? Who else was it down to before you decided to be a Pirate? Where else were you considering?
So my top three was Buffalo, Marshall, and ECU, and I was originally supposed to take 3 officials to those 3 schools, and after my first official, I came and visited ECU, and I was like, yeah, no, this is it. I'm coming here.
Ethan, now kind of a two-part question. One, I know you guys played against Jacob Sacra, a fellow Pirate signee. So talk about that experience, and then also just talk about some of the tremendous competition you played against with IMG Academy, having the chance to play against some of the better defensive linemen across the country.
Yeah, playing against Jacob, obviously that was a lot of fun. There was a lot of trash talk going on, but I didn't really see him until after the game, and it was a tough loss to say the least. But playing at IMG, really like the hardest times playing football were really in practice. We got big 4-star, 5-star guys that we're playing against every day in practice. When it comes to games and we're going up against somebody who's like maybe a 5-star, it really doesn't faze me. Like I don't look them up before the game, nothing. I just kind of show up, and if you're lined up in front of me, I'm going to hit you. You got to kind of deal with that.
Love that attitude.
I love the attitude. That's one of the things that we've been longing for as Pirate fans. Pirate Nation is, I know Matt can speak, he's on the defense side of the ball, but certainly the offensive line, we're very happy that the coaching staff has worked really, really hard to get yourself and the others. In fact, guys, it's like 6 or 7 guys in the signing class, right? So the number
I'm sorry,
one.
I think I might have lost you guys.
Can you hear me now?
Ethan, can you hear us?
Yeah, okay. Now I can hear you.
Okay, I was asking about the very fact that the coaching staff has brought in like 6 or 7 guys here on the offensive line. It's very nice to see that they're taking the offensive line very seriously, something that we've needed, especially if we want to win championships, right?
Yeah, no, it's exciting seeing guys like Jacob, Parker coming in. It really gets me excited because I know we're trying to do something special here, and I get to be a part of it. So,
Ethan,
go ahead, Bubba. Oh, well, Ethan, I was going to ask you same question I've asked the other guys we've had on. Tell us about you off the field. What are your interests off the field? What do you like to do for fun, et cetera, et cetera?
Off the field, I'm from New Jersey, but I spend a lot of time in Pennsylvania. We quad a lot. We got a few side-by-sides and a few quads. Never really got into dirt biking. Thought I was a little too heavy for that. But quads are a lot of fun. And like to go trap shooting a lot too.
Our women's basketball coach said she grew up on quads and dirt bikes.
Yeah.
That's kind of an interesting thing. So that's something you have in common with her.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. Really get out there in the mountains. It's a lot of fun.
Kyle, I'm sure when Ethan came on tonight, he wasn't expecting to hear a comparison to the East Carolina women's basketball coach Kim McNeil.
Yeah, I got a question, Bubba. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I got to get this in while I'm thinking about it.
No problem. Go ahead.
Ethan, it was you guys that played Bishop Sycamore, wasn't it?
Yeah, we played Bishop Sycamore actually 2 years in a row. The first year we beat them, I think 58-0, and nobody really thought anything crazy about it. Like, they kind of showed up. They all had beards. They were all a little bit bigger, and everybody was kind of thinking, oh, maybe these guys are just post grads or something like that. But then seeing all that stuff on the news was pretty funny. Like, oh, they're actually a fake school. So
did you guys ever get any confirmation about how old they were, where they come from? Is there any classes? I mean, that was the weirdest damn story.
No, we found out everything on the news like you guys did. We kind of just showed up to play, and then like everything on Twitter after finding out that the coach had an arrest warrant, or maybe some of these guys graduated in 2019. Like, we got kids that are sophomores and freshmen playing on our team and making an impact, and they gotta have guys that are graduated in 2019 and they still get blown out 70-0. It's pretty funny.
That's such a strange story. And does anybody know? I don't know that you would know, Ethan. Does anybody did they finish out the season? Did they play more games, or was that kind of the end of that once they got exposed?
No, actually, I think they were supposed to play a bunch of other big schools and travel a bunch, but I think a ton of teams after all that stuff came out on the news, I'm pretty sure that they got their season canceled.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that was a very weird. You're right, Kyle. That was a very weird story, and hopefully that kind of stuff doesn't continue to happen. That was very strange, for sure. I know, Bubba, you have a question.
Yeah, as we're wrapping this up with Ethan, I just wanted to get Ethan's thoughts on offensive line coach Steve Shankweiler, a veteran in the business, and Coach Shank has been doing it for an awfully long time and awfully well. So just talk about Coach Shank and the relationship you developed with him.
Yeah, no, Coach Shank's awesome. He's pretty old school. We started talking sometime over the summer, and he called me and he said, "Hey, if you're just chasing offers, you got this offer, but like if you really are interested in us and you want to build this relationship, do some research, and I want you to come visit, and I'll shake your hand and really offer you in person." And that really intrigued me. Old school stuff like that is pretty cool. But when I actually got there, he showed me some of the stuff that he does with the guys that are already there, and he's old school, but he's not stuck in his ways. So he's changing too, which I think is pretty cool.
Ethan, you said something that I'm sorry, I was just going. Ethan, you said something that was amazing to me is the fact that you had three official visits. And after East Carolina, obviously the guys on the show are pro ECU. Matt played linebacker under Coach Logan in the 90s, so played for East Carolina football. But it's amazing. You had the one official visit and you just said, bam, I'm going to East Carolina. It's not something a lot of guys just love that limelight. They love the recruiting and all the, the trips and all that. But you actually said, hey, I'm going to ECU at Greenville. I just love that. The confidence you had right off the bat to come to Greenville. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I came first on an unofficial over the summer, and they really blew me away. And then I had an official to Marshall after that. And as I'm walking around the campus, I'm thinking to myself, it's stuck in the back of my head that, hey, maybe I want to go be a Pirate. And, after the official, I came back, I talked to my family. And originally I was supposed to go on an official to Buffalo the week after. And I just kind of sat down and said, no, this is where I want to go.
Well, really what it was, let's be honest, it was the girls on campus in Greenville was the girls on campus in Huntington. And you could have went to Buffalo. I don't think that would have made a difference.
I won't say that that really affected my decision. I actually got a girlfriend, so.
Oh, okay.
Well, let's not get him in trouble, Kyle.
Yeah,
Ethan, all the girls in Greenville are ugly, and in fact, they're nuns. They're ugly nuns.
I wouldn't go that
there
far.
We go. There we go. No, that's for his girlfriend. All the girls in Greenville are ugly nuns. That's for his girlfriend.
Wow.
Ethan, I got an important question for you. One, I'll keep it a little. I won't get you in trouble with this one. Giants, Jets, or how about Knicks, Nets? What's it looking like?
Huge Giants fan. My dad got season tickets. I actually go every chance I can get. And I'm a pretty big Nets fan, or at least I used to be when they were in New Jersey.
All right, I like it.
Sounds good. Hey, Ethan, we're so happy to have you a part of Pirate Nation. Thank you so much for spending time with us, and look forward to seeing you next year in that purple and gold, man.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I'm really excited about this.
All right, enjoy the holidays. All right, as we continue our Crew 22, the 22 East Carolina recruiting special here on the Sports Objective. Bubba, you have he's got, I tell you what, he's been working guys for a few days now, and I know right now we're very excited to have on the show. Not only this is our first time, we actually have a coach, Bryan Teal, and JD Lampley. Guys, thank you so much for coming on, and what a special night for us to have you guys on and to talk some Pirate football, to talk about you guys and your season, obviously, for 2021. Coach and JD, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Wanted to have you guys on tonight. Obviously, JD, we'll start with you. It's a very special time. I heard this last week about a guy, a former player, not with East Carolina, talking about a talking head about how this is one of the biggest decisions you can make in life, up there with obviously marrying your wife. So what made you decide love the hat, by the way, love that hat very much. What made you decide East Carolina?
They just made me feel like I belong there. I didn't feel that connection with the coaches, nobody, the players that are there now at any other school I went to. It just felt like home from the first time we went on campus.
You guys, Coach, you guys have a rich tradition, obviously being in Richmond County. You guys have unbelievable, the people that may be watching, obviously North Carolina would know about you guys, but if you're watching around the nation, you guys have one of the best, year in and year out, one of the best football programs in the state. Talk about can you give us a little bit of background of your season this year, and obviously tell us a little bit about JD.
Sure. Yeah, we had a good season, 10-2. Won a conference championship for the fourth straight year. So some really good things. We a little earlier exit than we would have liked to in the playoffs. You know, if you don't play for a state championship in Richmond, it's just one of those things you look back and you go, okay, well, what can we do a little bit better? But JD had a phenomenal year. Just top to bottom as from a standpoint of being a leader, on and off the field. The kid works out, extremely hard. Loves to prepare for the game, loves the physical nature of the game. He's a joy really as a fan to watch. And I get to be down there on the sidelines where I can see him pretty doggone close. So he's a lot of fun to watch. Motor runs really high. And even having a little ace down there on the sidelines after the game, his little brother, that's some good stuff. It's a good family approach. His dad's first guy to tailgate every week. So, we love having the Lampleys around our program. Any hope we can get Ace to come to Greenville as well there? We have JD. Do we have a pipeline there? The Lampley pipeline to Greenville? I don't have any problems with it. Ace is dressed up as a pirate on signing day already. So, he's starting the right way. But, he's got quite a few years, doesn't he, JD, before he gets a chance?
He does. He's only 4 right now.
Okay, there you go.
Coach, it's funny you use the word motor to describe JD because, I was watching taking a look at the huddle videos for a lot of the recruits earlier today. One of the things that really jumped out to me, JD, about the way you play is you do have a very high motor, really intense player, physical at the line of scrimmage. Obviously really, really good size. You're listed at 6'3", 290. So you already come in with a frame that's ready made for college football. But tell me a little bit about that. Where does that come from? That high motor, the intensity on the field, because it does jump out on film.
I don't know. I don't really know where it comes from. I just enjoy it. I just enjoy playing. I don't know.
I would say that it stands out to us the joy of the game. I mean, he even at practice, the kid loves to practice. So he obviously enjoys playing this game. And I got an old coach on our staff talks about linebackers are born, they're not made. Because there are only certain kind of guys like to hit. Well, JD has that same type of mentality.
JD, how many times have you been referred to as old school in your life? I bet you quite a few times.
A lot.
Hey, Coach, as you may know, Matt Semenza played linebacker under Coach Logan in the 90s. A lot of wins, including that Orange Bowl win against Miami, Liberty Bowl appearances. Matt, what do you see you've watched the film of JD? Talk about what you saw, and I know you looked again today preparing for the show.
And that is actually how Matt refers to that win over Miami, is the Orange Bowl.
I sure do. That was a fantastic night. I don't know if you, JD, if you're familiar with that, but that was a great moment in the history of the program. But I'll tell you, a few things I noticed. JD, just watching your film. I mean, it looks like for a big guy, you have some twitch to you, right, Coach? I mean, I noticed you have a nice swim move in your arsenal there. So I saw some things beyond just being the type of guy who can blow up the line of scrimmage. You have some twitch to your game. I see you as a guy that can come in and obviously everybody needs to develop in the program, but I see you as a guy who can eventually be a multi-year starter in this program and see a very bright future for you here at East Carolina.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's got some twitch. We put him at running back some this year too in some heavy sets. He was begging for that, so he felt like he has some twitch. He's been a little humble right now. He feels pretty good about his twitch. He wants the ball too.
Hey, Coach, can we call him Refrigerator?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we might need to come up with something a little more. That one might be trademark. Maybe we call him Frigidaire or something. Give him a little extra.
I remember those.
JD, what did you like about Blake Harrell's defense? We're obviously a lot of cool blitz schemes that he utilizes. Coach Harrell's pretty creative. What did you like about the brand of defense we're playing right now at East Carolina?
I like because I feel like it's very aggressive and just a bunch of I like how he uses different stuff. Like watching the games, I went to most every home game. I like watching the different ways they would line up and play, just attack the offense.
JD, you're coming in at a time, a really good time. Obviously, it's a great day every day to be a Pirate, but you're coming in the very fact that this program has gone from the lowest of the lows, and now Coach Houston, just year 3, has a bowl eligible. You have 7 wins, a chance to go 8 wins this year, and you guys are, I think, a special class. I've said it several times tonight because you have a chance to build upon that. They have a nice foundation coaches set up in Greenville, and now you guys can just go bowling. You have won conference championships. I think this class has a really bright future.
Yes, sir. I do too. I think most of the guys in our class, like we have a group chat. Everybody's pretty close together, and everybody's excited to get down there.
No question. JD, what as far as Pirate Nation is concerned, off the field, what are some hobbies you like to do?
I like to go fishing, ride 4-wheeler, shoot skeet. I used to play baseball, but whenever our season got moved into the spring, I didn't play last year, and I'm not playing this year either because I'm graduating.
Well, I was going to ask you that very fact of would you, if you have, I know football is priority, but would you play baseball with Coach Godwin?
Yes, I remember when I was little, I used to tell everybody, like Daddy used to always try to make me choose, like which one I would rather play in college. I'd just tell them I wanted to play both. Like they get mad, but I really didn't know.
All right, we'll have to let Coach know that you want to play baseball too. I don't want to get in trouble, Coach Houston and the staff there, but we're looking forward to having you, obviously, in Greenville. Are you actually going to? So, are you going to be in January in Greenville? Are you mid-year enrollee? Oh, wow, that's fantastic. Hey, Matt, I wish we could have done that back in the day, right, where we could go early and not have to wait.
No doubt. I like it. You know, part of me loves it for the kids. You get to get in early and develop. I also like to see the young guys enjoy their high school experience too. So I have some mixed feelings about it, but I think it's a great opportunity for you to get in a weight program. You'll have a chance to play in the spring football, be with the team there and really learn and develop. So definitely a great opportunity for you.
We're obviously very excited. And Coach, by the way, I'm a big racing fan. I'm very excited down your way with Rockingham Speedway. I know the Governors, they're going to put a lot of money into the Speedway. Very happy to, as someone that has a racing background a little bit with announcing racing, I'm very excited to see you guys have that. I know that's not football related, but very happy for you guys down there to get some money your way. And I'm hoping to see more racing down at the Speedway.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of people down this way pretty excited by that, and maybe hopefully more people in the South too, just in general. Because let's be honest, this is where racing all started anyway. So it's moved all around the country, but this is the hometown, so to speak, for it. So
no doubt.
Well, off topic, but what is the goal? Obviously, I don't think the Cup Series is coming back, but are they going to try to get the Truck Series down there, or do y'all know the goal?
I don't. I just know that the money is going to be put there for renovations, and then and for updating the facilities, and then I think it's pretty much up to the guys who are there, who are owning the project, to put forth some business and to find some ways of making sure that they bring some things back into Rockingham.
No doubt they were going to try to have the cars tour, but unfortunately that didn't work out because of the tire shortage. Trying to get the rubber. Hoosier Tires has had, not to get way too off topic, but they have had a real tough time getting rubber, my understanding. So they had trouble building a tire for that track. And so they've had to postpone that. Hopefully they can have that race. But I know they're looking for having more events there racing-wise. So we'll look forward to that. Guys, Coach JD, welcome to Pirate Nation. Coach, thank you very much for developing great talent. And good luck to you guys next season, no doubt, there in Richmond County.
Appreciate that, guys.
I hope you'll have a great night.
You too.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What a great night. Obviously, guys, Bubba, man, this is like a Super Bowl of Super Bowls. If you love any kind of, for those of us that love college football, this is one of my favorite times of the year for the signing day. I'm used to having it in February. I'm kind of old school in that, but hey, we're having so much fun with these guys, with the coaches, the players. It just makes you proud to be a Pirate. We're going to bring back in Jay Sonnhalter and Sonny. What a night. What a great class that these guys have brought in. I mean, with the coaches, they've done an excellent job. A lot of great talent in this class, right?
Yeah, I think the fun part is just getting to talk to them, because you see their stats and you kind of follow their film and see what they are on paper, but getting to know them just in a few minutes, it's exciting because, for them, I mean, they have an opportunity to help their family getting a scholarship and then go get an education and go to, an awesome football school with great fans. So, for them, it just kind of, you put yourself in that position when we were going to college, and, how exciting it must be for them and the opportunities they're going to have.
Yeah, Jay, you had mentioned prior to the guests coming on earlier in the show that, we were talking a little bit about having an opportunity to see people in camp and evaluating character and that type of thing. One of the things, just talking to these guys tonight, very briefly, really impressed with all of them. Really well-spoken guys. They seem very committed to East Carolina, to getting into the program, developing. I mean, did that jump out to you as well, Jay, when you heard from these guys tonight?
It did, yeah. I mean, you can tell they're excited, but you can tell that they're good kids too. And I think that's really important, because you want them to be talented on the field, but I mean, how are they going to be off the field? How are they going to be as far as going to class and working out and having discipline when the coaches aren't there? So hopefully, these guys stay on the right track.
And guys, you always hear that very thing, the coach speak about how we're going after my kind of guy. We're going after these great kids. We're going to make sure that they're, good academically and they're good citizens, blah, 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 blah. You hear all that stuff all the time. And also you're like numb to it because we've heard it so many years, those of us, especially when you're getting older. I won't speak for the rest of you guys, but when you hear Coach Houston, when he says something, you really believe him.
I think it's huge. I don't think, I think if you're a coach and you're evaluating players and you have let's say you have 2 3-star guys, right? Very similar skill sets, same position, same talent. You're going to go every time. You're going to go with the guy who you think is going to be a better fit for your program, maybe a higher character, stronger work ethic, that type of thing. And I think, you could see that our staff has really tried to recruit to that. And we've had less off the field issues in recent years than I can remember. So I think coach has done a really good job with that. It's a very important factor in building a program because you just don't want guys in the program that are a bad influence, that are lazy. And the bottom line is they're not going to last long anyway. If that's the case, they're going to get weeded out quickly. So very important.
No doubt, guys. We're very excited. Obviously, when we're looking at the signees, any way that we can get contributions on the field. And I know Bubba, Jay, Matt, Kyle, we have another special player that we have right now transferring in from West Virginia to East Carolina. And let's bring in now, right, Bubba, Parker Moore. How are you?
Doing good. How you guys doing?
Good. We wanted to have you on tonight. Thank you so much for choosing Pirate Nation. We actually have a thing called the TSO, being the Sports Objective Locker Room. We have Ryan Jones on every week, and being you guys are from Mallet Creek, he's had some nice things to say about you. And what can you say about Ryan Jones?
Man, that's my guy. When I first put my name into the portal, he was one of the first people to reach out to me and talked to Coach Foster about it, and took a chance and took a visit here. He was my host on my official, just had a good vibe from him and along with some of the other guys on the team.
Parker, you look at these running backs we have coming back. You look at some of the other pieces, Holt Nailers, obviously, some of the talent at receiver. The one place we did lack a little bit of a depth is on the offensive line. Being a transfer coming in from West Virginia, you obviously wanted to go somewhere you knew you could make an impact. What kind of impact do you expect to make on this offensive line next season?
Impact wise, just bring my mindset to the offensive line. Come attack every workout, every practice. With juice, bring juice to the O line and making sure that I'm holding myself to the standard and making sure that things like that.
What appealed to you on the visit? I mean, obviously, playing at West Virginia, you're a North Carolina kid. You played Big 12 football. But besides the relationship with Ryan, what else appealed to you about East Carolina? When you visited, what sold you on becoming a Pirate?
Just the culture. Just the culture from the coaches and players. Like, a lot of guys, like both the running backs, Keaton and Raji, they DM me on Instagram and Twitter, and they wanted me bad. My official, I hung out with Holton. We had a good talk, good conversation. And he was telling me like how much he needs protection and things like that because, that was an issue this past season. And another thing too is just the academic support and all the new renovations in campus. Because 3 years ago when I had went, I didn't get to see any of that. Like all that stuff was being built at the time, like the locker room, the training facility, all that stuff. So coming back and getting to see the new stuff kind of, added more excitement to it.
When you visited before, was Houston here or was that still Montgomery?
It was with Montgomery when I was coming out of high school.
Gotcha. Parker, you had you said that we had a chance to hang out with Holton. He seems to be the number one, or sorry to the coaches, but the number one recruiters, especially when it comes to players. Did he have a big influence on you coming, or was it more Ryan?
I'd say both. Holton's a cool guy. As soon as I met him, we sat down in his living room, just chopped it up. Just had good vibes from him, and all he wants to do is win. All he wants to do is just succeed and be great, and that's kind of the same thing I want. So we kind of clicked right there. Same thing with Ryan. Me and him coming from Alec Creek, you know, that's what we came from. We came from a good, strong, winning program, and that's all we want, is just to succeed and win, and hopefully you can get to a conference championship and finish the job next year.
That was what I was going to ask you. What do you feel coming in next year? You know, unlike a lot of the high school guys, you're expected to have an immediate impact and a big impact. What do you feel the goal is next year? Do you feel like that we could win a conference championship next year?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think I have a lot of confidence in the team. A lot of guys, when I made my commitment, followed me and reached out to me, and they were just saying all they want is just for me to work and get to that goal of making it to a conference championship and finishing the job. So I'm just going to go by my word, go by their word, and, you know, just grind, and hopefully we'll get there, you know.
You know, Parker, one of the things on signing day, Coach Houston really emphasized how I believe it was pro football focused, but, you know, one of the outlets out there said that you ranked as West Virginia's, I think, second best in terms of pass blocking. So just talk about your game, both pass blocking as well as your run blocking.
As far as pass blocking, my goal every game was to not give up a sack, and I did that, you know, when I did play. And obviously giving up a sack is something you don't want to do. It's probably one of the worst feelings in the world, but that was an important thing to me every time I approached the game. But as far as run game, I feel like I can generate more power when I'm driving somebody, engaging, getting to the second level, engaging with the linebackers and moving them. Still got to work on that stuff because my grade from pass blocking and run blocking, the ratio is kind of off. So I kind of want to bring that run blocking back up to where it was 2 years ago when I had got snaps.
And as far as your pass blocking, talk about some of the, you know, tremendous defensive linemen that you went against, whether it be in Big 12 competition or otherwise.
I'd say it would be the guys on the team like Dante Stills and Taj Alston. Like, those guys made sure they pushed me every day, and those guys are elite at what they do. And that's why they were able to perform numbers that they did, because we just pushed each other to be great. But as far as that, that's kind of what helped me progress as an offensive lineman, going against those guys, because they're older and more experienced. They obviously have some strengths that I didn't have. So learning from them helped me become a better player. And when I learned those skills, I was able to push them, and that's why we were able to feed off of each other.
Parker, you always hear so much, and we get sick of hearing the Power Five, Group of Five talk. You coming from the Big 12, what are your thoughts on the American compared to the Big 12?
American is a good conference. I mean, you got college football playoff team in the 4th spot, Cincinnati. You guys are successful. ECU. I'm not even gonna say you guys. I'm gonna say we, because, you know, we are a growing team, growing program. I think we're gonna be great. UCF is a good program. Houston's on the rise. So I think American Conference has a lot going on right now.
Parker, you know, you taking a look at the college transfer portal these days. It's something that's really sort of changed the face of college football in recent years, and it's almost become like free agency. And, you know, what's that feeling like as a player when you really get the opportunity to dictate your own future and make a choice? You know, go somewhere you really want to go. Have an opportunity to really, you know, make a decision to impact your own future. What's that process like? And I'm also curious, how does that go when you how did your teammates? I'm sure they were very disappointed to see you moving on, but what does that look like?
As far as the portal goes, I didn't know what was going to happen when I got in there. I was kind of scared because, you know, a lot of people enter the portal, and the portal is a big thing in today's football. But as far as that goes, you gotta have a plan. Like, for me, I had a plan. I knew I wanted to be home. I knew I wanted to be somewhere close to my family. And what kind of gets a lot of people is they enter the portal and don't really have a plan. They don't have the film. They don't have the experience that teams are looking for. And that's kind of what hurts those guys. But as far as how my teammates felt, you know, they support me. I was a good guy in the locker room, if anybody needed me, I was there for them no matter what I was going through. And when you make that decision to enter the portal, it helps you because you might be in a situation where you're not comfortable with, but say you're not happy with something and you want to leave, you can make that decision to leave and seek happiness in that journey to happiness, things like that.
Parker, can you talk about, obviously we all on the show love Greenville. Are there some places like restaurants, different places that you've been around that you like or that come to mind?
I gotta hit Parker's Barbecue because obviously that's my name, but Sup Dog is amazing. That was the first thing I ate there when I took my visit, and just I had the chili dogs, 2 of those, and some onion rings. That was pretty good food. I think Scullery, I think that's what it's called. Great breakfast. The pancakes were awesome. The eggs had a different taste to them, but they were pretty good. And, the bacon was good too. So yeah, those are the places I've been to so far. And I see they had a Krispy Kreme, so I'm gonna be over there a couple times.
Yeah, to tell you how old I am, Parker, that Krispy Kreme has been there and that McDonald's across the street has been there for 100 years. In fact, I used to. Hey Matt, you were there with me in the 90s. That Krispy Kreme, many times I would go get coffee in the middle of the night trying to cram. I know you never did that, Matt. I'm sorry. You're such a great student, not like me. I'm a terrible student. I'm a terrible student.
My parents would tell you differently.
I would go to the Krispy Kreme. I would go, especially my sophomore year. I lived close to the Krispy Kreme. I would walk there and get a whole coffee in the middle of the night because I was cramming for a final that I should have studied way before that, the night before,
Oh man.
Parker, if you're a donut guy, they mentioned Krispy Kreme, give you a heads up. Check out Duck Donuts.
Say again?
Check out Duck Donuts in Greenville.
Duck Donuts? I think there's one in Charlotte, and they have some pretty good donuts.
Oh, is there one in Charlotte now? Okay. Yeah, it's an Outer Banks restaurant originally, or donut shop, and I forget now. They've expanded all over the damn place. Used to, you had to go to the beach to get Duck Donuts. Now they're everywhere.
Yeah, I think there's one in just outside Charlotte. It's pretty good.
No. Kyle, come on, man. We can't be steering Parker towards donuts.
I mean, I'm a fat boy, so
Hey Parker, is that part of the? Hey Matt, is that part of the training table?
No, we don't want Parker eating too many donuts. We want to steer him towards the nutritious places. Wherever
he's an offensive lineman. He's an offensive lineman. He doesn't have to go to Clean Eats, another fine Greenville establishment. Clean Eats.
Hey, what's wrong with Clean Eats?
They don't sponsor the podcast, and so
I know the owner. Maybe he can. I know Scott, so maybe he'll come on, and we'll have to talk to Scott about sponsoring the show, and then you will be saying Clean Eats. The way you said that.
Marker. That's your new name, Marker. Parker. What are you into besides donuts off the field? What are some of your interests?
Obviously, like for me, in my off time, either rest, watch some TV or play video game. Video game's kind of my other life. So, yeah.
What do you play?
What's up?
What do you play?
I'll play a lot of games. I play a lot of sports games. I'll play some shooting games here and there. But yeah.
NBA 2K.
You ever go old school?
Old school, like as far as like the OG Mortal Kombats and things like that.
However old you want to
go. Nah, just whenever the next thing comes out, I'm on that and start playing that. So yeah.
Yeah, my son's really big into my son's into NBA 2K, and he likes. He and I also played Madden together.
Yeah, 2K is my thing. I was about to play some 2K with the boys later on tonight.
Does Ryan play with you? Is he a good gamer?
I haven't really played with Ryan yet, but when I go up there to Greenville, we'll have to see.
All right, we'll have to ask him next time we have him on. Parker, thank you so much. I know a very special day. It was on Wednesday. Great to have you tonight as part of our recruiting special here, Crew XXII. I love that name that the football administration came up with. Good luck to you next season. We're looking forward to having you. And you're going to be in January. You're going to be with us next month, right, in Greenville?
Yes, sir.
All right. Look forward to having you, and look forward to talking to you very soon.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, hope you have a great night.
Thanks, Parker.
Appreciate it. All right, great to have him. Parker was excellent, and obviously part of the Mallet Creek, just like Ryan Jones. So, guys, what a great night we've had so far, and very excited about this class. I know people always hype up the recruiting classes, but we're very excited. Obviously, Bubba, very excited to have this next guest.
We are, Dave. Next year's roster will feature a pair of brothers, and unfortunately, CJ had some previous plans. We'll have him on the program soon, maybe here in the next hour or so. But right now, we'd like to welcome in Charleston Southern transfer, a guy that wreaked a lot of havoc for the Pirates this year, or against the Pirates, I should say. Sacked Holton and really put on a lot of pressure, and that is Shaundre Mims. Shaundre, how are you?
I'm good, and you? How y'all doing today, or tonight, I could say?
Great. We're so glad to have you. Obviously, like you said, I'm glad that you're going to be wreaking havoc on other teams besides you're going to be a Pirate. And I'm really excited about this. Matt, you played with the two brothers, with Darren and David Hart back in the 90s under Coach Logan. They were amazing DBs. But now you and your brother are going to play. And I read it with our good friend Stephen Igo from Hoist the Colors. But the very fact that you guys have a chance to play on this, not only play college football at the same time, but play on the same team is really cool. And it's, I guess, COVID, obviously COVID played a part in that.
Yes, sir. COVID definitely did. Before COVID happened, we never thought brighter day that we would be out here playing together. And so when the opportunity presented itself, I was like, wow, me and my brother really do have the chance to play together. So once I hit the portal, it was always saying, Mike Houston said he would love to have me. So once I started getting like FBS offers, like who was it? WKU, Tulane. Matter of fact, they came on a home visit. That's when it was. I was like, y'all must have spoke them up, because that's when I started getting on the FBS offers. So the first one was WKU. They was coming to see CJ on his home visit. And I had stepped outside because I had just hit the portal like 3-4 days before. And then I'm like, dang, okay, WKU just hit me up. They offered. Then I stepped back in, got another call from Tulane. Then they had offered. So I came back in cutting jokes. So I was like, dang, coach, y'all must have spoke them up or something. So now I'm getting all the FBS offers.
When you played here against us back in September, you had a good night. You guys, the entire Charleston Southern team, irritated the crap out of Pirate Nation that night. You guys almost got us. What was your impression of Pirate Nation that night and the crowd coming here and playing in Dowdy Ficklin? And did you think at that time, hey, I'll be playing here next year?
No, see, that didn't. I was just so happy to be back at home. Because before we played EC, I was like, I ain't gonna lie, guys, I need all y'all tickets. So a lot of people don't even know I had to sign 42 tickets for that game. I was just so excited, man. I had a chip on my shoulder just to be back at home. Because I haven't played back in North Carolina since, closer to home since 2017. I was in high school. So I was just so excited, man, just to be back home. So I was just filled with juice and energy.
What town are you from?
Vanceboro, North Carolina.
Oh, you're from Vanceboro. Okay, I got you. All right, so you were really close to home. I remember you were from down east, but I can't remember where you were from. But yeah, you're on that Craven County, Pitt County line over by Grifton. So yeah, you were really home. Great program over there at West Craven. So glad to have you back as a Pirate. No, it's such a weird thing, man, with this transfer portal now and everybody getting the extra year because of COVID. To just think about that, you had no idea at that time that you'd never even crossed your mind you'd be a Pirate, a few months later. How excited are you to play at the FBS level?
Man, it's just truly a blessing. I feel like I have maxed out what I could do at FCS. So now I just really want to showcase my talents on the higher level, man. I get to play alongside my brother and be back home. And my mama ain't got to make 2-3 trips this year.
What about
Sorry, Dave. I didn't mean to cut you off there. Shaundre, are you projecting as an interior D tackle or a nose or DN? What are you thinking you're going to play next year?
The D tackle for sure.
Okay.
D-tech, but he also versatile. So I'm definitely just how they're going to fit me into their scheme. I'm just excited.
Shaundre, I was going to ask you about you were talking about the tickets. Is that a problem you're going to have now? I mean, you're talking about 42 tickets. I tell you one thing, guys. I don't know how many players tickets you guys get, but the Pirates are going to be so much better next year. And I don't know. That might be I guess that's a good problem to have for Pirate Nation.
Definitely. Hopefully, some of my people didn't know how to get their own tickets this time. But I know definitely this y'all like, man, I told them before the season even started, man, I need all the tickets I can get.
What was
tell your family
what
to get.
what was you guys' final record at Charleston Southern this year? Y'all around 500, weren't you?
Yeah, it was bad. I ain't gonna lie, it was bad. We started off real strong, and I feel like at the end we just started falling off. We played great against ECU, great against Citadel, and it's like we had a whole bunch of ups and downs. We had one good game, we'll beat a good team, then come back down, play down to another team level, lose that game. Then next week we play to our standard, and then we'll put up numbers. And then the following week it came, it was just like that the whole entire season. So we'll win one, lose one, win one, lose one. That's how it went basically the whole entire season.
Shaundre, when you when I was your age, me and my brother wanted to kill each other half the time. Will you guys wind up rooming together? Will you be roommates in college? Will you look after your younger brother, or will you kind of separate and go your own path?
So he said since he's a freshman, he has to be on campus. So he got to stay in the dorms on campus. So I'll be living off campus, but he probably definitely be over in my room every night. Dre, let me come over, come pick me up. So, we have a close by. I wouldn't mind it.
Your mom's got to be so happy to be able to have you, now that you've kind of been through this world of college football, to have you there to show your younger brother the ropes is certainly going to be, I would think a great experience for both of you. So a very unique experience, but I'm sure you're happy to be off campus and enjoying life a little bit, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Shaundre, you mentioned being excited about coming back home. What are you going to miss about Charleston? I mean, there's so damn many good restaurants down there.
I'm not gonna lie. One thing I will miss, I miss the beach. I miss downtown Charleston because there's nothing like it. And we used to go to a little club down there after every good home win. It's called Deco. I'm gonna miss Deco. I'm gonna miss the good food, the good seafood. It's bittersweet, but I'm definitely gonna have some good things I remember about Charleston.
Yeah.
And Shaundre, one of the things I wanted to mention was the fact that we've had Coach Stinson on a couple times this year, and he was fantastic, even including our preview for your game. Talk about him. He's such a great. I really liked him. We really thought he was very down home, straightforward kind of guy. Will you miss playing for Coach?
Definitely, man. Coach Denson is an awesome dude, man. I knew Coach Denson was a great football player, but like just the impact he has put on the world, and everyone just loves Coach Denson. He's just a loving guy, man. He was willing to help any and everybody, and he really changed the program around and turned it into a ministry. So it's not all about playing about yourself; it's about playing for the man above and your brothers. And he really taught us and emphasized the ministry, as in like just God always putting him first, and he will never lead you wrong. So I definitely, Coach Denson is an awesome man.
Talk about the the opportunity to come home. I know you've already touched on that, but just from the aspect of playing in front of the crowds that you'll play in front of at Dowdy-Ficklin, Shaundre, you're obviously well aware of that, being from Vanceburg and West Craven High School, and the crowd that you played in front of this year at Dowdy-Ficklin was actually one of the better crowds of the year, and maybe the biggest crowd as far as butts in the seats, even though a couple were listed as larger crowds. That was family weekend, and the crowd was very alive for that Charleston Southern game.
Oh man, I'm definitely excited, man. It's just like I said before, like I haven't played in front of like half of my family haven't even seen me play since high school. So it's just exciting just to get them back out there to see me in a jersey or see my grandparents. They can't travel that far to come to games. So just for them to go 30 minutes down the road to see me play is just exciting for me, man. It's just truly a blessing that I get to come back home and play at East Carolina, man.
What are your thoughts on Coach? What are your thoughts on Coach Harrell's system and his blitz schemes and the way they get after the quarterback?
Oh, it's definitely a lot to handle. So, like, I was talking with our quarterback when we did play. I was like, I ain't gonna lie, they probably blitzed one of the most that I've ever seen in college football by far. So they disguised it up so well. I also forgot it also makes sense. Now I didn't realize that he was the defensive coordinator at Kennesaw State, and Kennesaw State was in our conference. And I'm like, bro, a lot of these blitzes look like from Kennesaw State, and they're like, yeah, he was an ODC at Kennesaw State. So I was like, okay, it makes sense now. But he disguised so many blitzes, man, where you think they're coming from this way when they really not, and then they coming from this way. And he has a great scheme, man, and it definitely hit. And I'm just ready to be a part of it.
Shaundre, we've made many connections back to the 1990s tonight, and another one of those I know Matt will certainly appreciate is Snoop Wallace, Tabari Wallace. He's a tremendous principal. Now he's moved on to the Department of Public Instruction with the state of North Carolina. During your time there at West Craven and being from Vanceboro, did you get to know Mr. Wallace at all?
He wasn't there when I was there, but he was there for like CJ, and CJ just talked so highly of him, man. And I can see the culture that he did bring within when I did leave and came back to the high school, and I see that he left it at a great place. Because when I was there, I'm pretty sure the principal was I ain't even gonna lie, I don't remember the principal's name. But I know it was
Well, that's a good thing. That means you didn't get in trouble, Shaundre.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't. I stayed away from them.
Kyle, do you remember your principal's name?
Several of them. Yeah. I got in trouble a time or two, but that's all right. God, I'm horrible. Let me come back to this, guys. Somebody take it because I'm about to say something wrong. So let me get my thoughts together and make this question make sense and come back to me.
I've got one for you, Shaundre, real quick, guys. I'm just fired up because I just realized I didn't make the connection now that you guys as brothers, the first game you're going to play together in Dowdy-Ficklin is going to be Labor Day weekend against NC State. What does that make you feel like when you get a chance to play against an ACC school, especially probably, I would argue, guys, I don't think you guys, it would not be Charlotte. I think NC State is our biggest rival.
Dave, I'll go out on a limb and say you're right there.
That was sarcasm.
I'm definitely excited, man. I was unrecruited coming out of high school, being little, 228, soaking wet, undersized, and just those guys coming there. You're not tall enough. Like, you have good talent, but you're just not tall enough. You're not big enough. And just go on that stage and just show everyone wrong, man. A lot of people wouldn't think I'd be here today, but it ain't about what the haters say or the doubters say. You just go out there and prove them wrong every day.
Yeah, well, we've had several players from West Craven, guys. Koontz, was George Koontz, did he play at West Craven?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, there you go. You answered it for me. Do you know George Koontz? Did he come back to the high school any growing up?
I went. He was a busy man. My mom was. I'm pretty sure he's like a real estate agent now or something. No, that's Lee Beckman. That's a real estate agent. But I feel like he may have. I don't feel like West Craven. I feel like he did his thing when he was here. We really haven't seen. The only one I've really seen since I've left was Justin Hardy. Jesse Campbell, my cousin. Those probably the only three that I really seen that came back and actually spoke.
Yeah, Justin Hardy, of course, obviously, set records here at East Carolina. Went on and had a good career in the NFL, and of course, George Koontz. He's involved in athletics. Where's he at now? He's at some college up in Wisconsin. No, he's not in Green Bay.
It's a little small school. I believe it's Marion University, if I'm not mistaken. But he was involved in athletics administration, but now I think it's just university administration.
Okay.
Shaundre, man, I love the excitement. I could just tell talking to you for a few minutes, you are fired up to be a Pirate. And I get the feeling if you had some pad, man, you'd want to go out and blow somebody up tonight. It kind of comes across here on film, but how excited are you to get going? Obviously we got some winter workouts coming up soon, and then you have an opportunity to, which is, I think, is the most important thing for if you're going to enter the transfer portal, to be able to participate in spring football, to really learn the system. So, how excited are you to get going here and get involved in workouts?
I'm extremely excited. That's why I'm glad that my graduation fell the way it did, so I could go to a new home and jump right into stuff right away, so I wouldn't be trying to rush into the playbook, so I can get an understanding of the playbook, get a better understanding of the defense, get connections with the guys, see where I best fit in the system. So I feel like practicing in January and getting ready for spring ball and all that is definitely going to be a great effect.
Shaundre, before we're starting to wrap it up a little bit, but tell us about your brother. What kind of player is he? What can we expect out of him? You can probably give us a better scouting report on him than anybody.
He definitely is going to be a hard worker, man. Player for West Craven, he played offensive line, man, D line. He just wanted to be on the field and do anything to help his team. So what I can say about my little brother is he's gonna get a hard worker, willing to do whatever for the team to win. He's gonna compete his tail off. And man, he just plays as a high motor, man. And even if you are down, he's gonna sit there and encourage you and say, "We got it, we got it." And so, because when I was young, I didn't have an older brother, so I tried to instill in him that, man, being a great teammate, always playing hard, giving it your all, giving 100%, man. And so I feel like he's gonna be versatile. I don't think he realized how big he's gonna get. He think he's gonna be stick at the size he's gonna be. I told him once he get that freshman weight, he's gonna be easily about 330. He's talking about, so we gonna see. But he definitely is a hardworking guy, man. I'm just so proud of him. So just to be on that journey with him, man, I'm just feel like a proud big brother, man.
And Shaundre, who's the better? Be honest with it. Who's the better football players, at you or CJ?
Man, CJ definitely gonna be better than me, man. I'm gonna say that. He has time to develop, man. He still have 4 or 5 years under his belt, but I'm gonna let him have that, man. I want to see him shine. I want to see him grind.
Good deal.
All right, that's gonna be great. I tell you what, if with Semenza's area, with the Hart twins, with those two guys, two of the most competitive guys. You guys on that '90s team with the defense were so competitive, all of you. But those two guys were great. If you get a chance, I don't know if you know them. But David and Darren Hart, if you get a chance, meet them, Shaundre. They're awesome, and you guys will have something special there as brothers playing at the same time for the Pirates. Well, we got. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. Give our best to CJ. Hopefully, we can have him on soon. Wish you best for the holidays, and look forward to meeting you next year.
Okay, same to you. Thanks.
All right, have a great night, man. Wow, what a great night, guys. Again, we've said that a lot, but certainly it's been Bubba's done it unbelievable. This is like the Super Bowl, I think, of East Carolina recruiting special. I'm not self-hyping it. I really believe that. I think the proof is in the pudding when you look at the coaches, players that we've had on tonight. And I want to give a shout out to Matt, because this is your brainchild and something we wanted to do, but this was your idea. So grateful we can have it, and I think it's great we're having it on a Sunday night where it's kind of like the spotlight we could really truly have for the players and coaches. It's not about us; it's really their night.
Yeah, unbelievable. And I got to give you guys credit, and Bubba. I mean, what a lineup! I know you put a tremendous amount of work into this show. It's just a great opportunity to be able to talk with these new recruits and their coaches.
Yeah, you don't like to toot your own horn, but toot toot.
It's a wrestling promo there.
Here in just a
Double
moment,
A.
guys, we'll be joined from another Shark. Anybody that knows anything about the East Carolina defense this year knows about the tremendous play from the secondary. You had Jaquan McMillan from West Forsyth High School, Clemens, North Carolina, just west of Winston-Salem, earned second-team All-American honors, and he was named an All-American by at least 3 or 4 different outlets and publications around the country. So, hats off to Jaquan on a tremendous year. I think he has, at least 5 picks, guys, if not 6, and up there 13 or 14 or something at least in his career. But here in a moment, we'll be joined from Hough High School. He played for the Huskies and tremendous talent. Isaiah Brown Murray, and chose the Pirates over the likes of Louisville, etc.
Speaking of Jaquan, I was thinking about this other day. I'm glad you brought him up. Matt and Jay being former players. I remember being at a press conference 2 years ago in 2019, and Coach Houston having that big grin on his face, a big smile on his face, talking about how Jaquan, how he's a special player. And even though it may have been, I can't remember what game it was, but I remember him saying that really sticks out in my mind. And, in other words, you're starting to see all those planting the seeds that Coach Houston's done. You're starting to see a lot of this stuff happen for these guys. And what's great is we still have a lot of these guys are going to be playing for the next year or two. So it's not like that they're leaving. And Jaquan, I think there's no question he should be first team, but I'll leave that to the talking heads because obviously they know more about football than all of us on the show. And I say that sarcastically. But anyway, it's great to have. It's certainly no doubt about it. Great to have a great player like him, and he's not the only one, or we wouldn't have had 7 wins this year.
Yeah,
no
no doubt
doubt.
about it, Dave. And right now, I'll actually just join the show. Let's go out to Cornelius, North Carolina, or thereabouts, and talk to Isaiah Brown Murray, Hough High School Husky. Isaiah, how are you this evening?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Great. Isaiah, thank you so much for coming on the show. Very excited to have you a part of our Crew 22, the 2022 East Carolina recruiting special we're doing here tonight on the Sports Objective for those tuning in right now. And very excited to have you part of the class. Talk about maybe what you can in the recruiting process and what made you become a Pirate.
What made me become a Pirate ever since day one, since they offered me, I just felt like home. Actually, Trip Weaver, the safeties coach, he offered me my first scholarship when he was at Western Carolina. So me and him had a great relationship already. So as soon as they offered me since day one, Greenville felt like home. That's why I chose to become a Pirate.
You look at this coaching staff and secondary coaches. You mentioned Trip Weaver, and the way the secondary has performed this year. You got to love the style of play, how aggressive the defense is, and all the turnovers the secondary has forced.
Yeah, I love it. I love it because I love it. I love it so much. I watch almost every game, and they play great this season. Like I can't wait to be a part of that, and I hope I can come in and join and live up to the expectations that they established.
You know, Isaiah, that's one of the things, Matt, you being a defensive guy, is in the not recent past, but there was a few years where the DBs were thin. When I say thin, as far as we had some talent, but not enough talent at that position, and we were getting beat a lot. And Isaiah, I'm really happy you're coming into a program now that that there's not going to be a whole bunch of plays that in the future where where your teammates or yourself will get beat. I'm really excited about that.
I am too. I think our secondary is really good now, especially in J-Mac, especially our corners, J-Mac and Malik Fleming. I think they played great this year.
Isaiah, when you take a look at this defensive system, you're going to be joining here soon. I mean, I love watching it on TV. I mean, we are aggressive. We blitz. We're not afraid to get after it, which means as a corner, you're going to be on an island a lot of the time. You're going to be one-on-one. You're going to be manned up on the outside. You know, watching you strike me as the type of guy that would love that kind of challenge, right?
Oh, yes, sir. I love to compete, and I'm a great competitor, and I think I have the skills to get the job done. So I can't wait for it.
Isaiah, talk about your recruitment from the standpoint. I know you had the likes of Arkansas, Louisville, App State, who played such excellent defense down through the years. Just talk about, what made you choose East Carolina over those types of programs, with where Coach Houston, Blake Harrell, and this staff have this program headed to contend for AAC championships, and hopefully in the very near future doing something like Cincinnati, playing in a New Year's Six bowl game and maybe even a college football playoff.
I chose this school over them schools because I just felt like I seen the uprising in the program, even though besides this season we wasn't winning a lot, but I seen the growth in what Mike Houston and Coach Ellis was doing with the program and what their position groups was always doing. I seen the growth that was happening. I wanted to be a part of that. Schools like App and Arkansas and Louisville, schools like that, they already established their place in their conferences, and I feel like ECU, this year we're on the uprise, and I feel like in a couple years, probably maybe even next year, we might be number one in the conference. So I just want to be a part of something great, and I ain't want to join something that was already great.
That's interesting. That's an interesting mindset that you wanted to be a part of something that was building rather than something that was already built. I find that very interesting. Everybody has a different mentality. So that's what makes you have that mentality? What is it in your makeup? do you think that makes you want to be of some part of something that's building and want to be able to put your name on something?
I just feel like my legacy after my career is done, it'll mean more if I come to a place and I'm part of something that started off not as good and turned great. And I feel like ECU is a place we had one of the best seasons in many years this year, and I feel like next year we're gonna be even better. So I just feel like if I come and contribute and play how I think I'm gonna play, I think I can go down with a great legacy and a great career, and my name will hold more weight in the football world than it would anywhere else.
From a defensive backs, go ahead, Kyle, if you have a follow up to that.
No, I was just going to say I like that mentality, and that's something that I wish more players. Everybody plays the hat game, and you see the Alabama hat and the Georgia hat, and then then maybe you'll have one so-called group of five school hat sitting up there, and they always pick the same damn hat. You know who they're going to choose. So I wish more kids carried the same mindset that he has with realizing that sometimes you can make a bigger impact going to somewhere that hasn't had as much success, and you kind of putting your name on things.
Yes, sir. That's the biggest mindset I can have. That's how I was raised. I was raised to grind and be your own man. That's what I'm trying to be.
I love Bubba's hat. As a matter of fact, we're selling those hats now. So the established 1932 hat. So we have now for the football team. But I tell you what, Isaiah, I'm very excited about. We've been talking about that all night for the special about this class coming in. How close are you? One of the questions I had for you: how close are you to the other guys that are part of this class for the Crew 22, as we're calling it?
I've talked to a couple of the guys. Some of the guys I already knew, and I feel like I talked to some. We have this group chat, so I feel like we talk every day, and I feel like we're gonna be really close once we really get to see each other every day and start working out and practicing and getting compete with them guys. So I feel like it's gonna be a family, especially with this class. And I feel like this 22 class can be something special, and I feel like we can really change the program.
From a defensive back standpoint, we've talked during this show, when we had, coaches or players on talking about getting pressure on the quarterback. Matt's referenced the blitzes designed by Blake Harrell and this defensive staff. Just from a defensive back standpoint, talk about the importance of having that solid pass rush, because obviously you can't cover for but so long on the back end.
I feel like it's very important. I feel like the D-line, they're going to make me look good. So I love to have the best D-line there is. Like a person in our class that I already knew was JD. He's a monster. So I feel like that was a great pickup for us too, because he can help me out and I can help him out sometimes. So I feel like the pass rush is very important for us, because like you said, I can't be coming out there for 6-7 seconds. So yeah, so I think it's very important.
And at the same time, he has enough confidence in you to play man to man, probably more than a lot of teams do.
Oh yes, sir. I feel like I can cover. I feel like I can play man to man. I think that's my strongest suit is man to man. I think I'm more of a man guy than a zone guy. So I'm prepared for the challenge that they'll bring upon me playing man to man against the receivers in the American Conference, because there are some great receivers in the conference.
Isaiah, now we have in our system, we tend to call it a boundary corner and a field corner. Will you be on the field side most of the time, do you think?
Yes, sir. I think I think I'll be coming in as a field corner in the beginning. Maybe I'll get moved to the boundary. I don't know yet, but I think I'll start off in the field.
Okay.
That's exciting to think about, Matt, with the very fact of this program. And you look at this class coming in with the talent. One of the things that I've been impressed about tonight, Isaiah, is how you guys, as a group of the guys we've had on so far, well-spoken. You hear, I was talking to the guys earlier in the show, the very fact you always hear coach speak. Coaches always say, say the right things. We're getting great guys, great talent, grade-wise. This guy's great. He's a great citizen. But I really believe this class, when you said something special, one thing that comes to mind is that you're good guys all together, on and off the field.
Yeah, I think we are too. I think all our guys, we all came from good families, and we all were raised right, and we all got good character, and I feel like we all carry ourselves very high. That's another thing that's really gonna help us great, and I feel like we all really love football. We all want to grind, so I feel like we all gonna come prepared, and I feel like we all coming to ECU to play.
I've asked this question to almost everybody. What do you like off the field? What are some of your interests? What are you into? What do you do for fun?
Things I do for fun. Really, all I do is if I'm not playing football, I'm just hanging out with friends. I'm really into sneakers. I'm a big sneaker guy. I like
I
collecting
believe, I believe
sneakers.
that's called a sneakerhead.
Oh yeah, I think I'm a pretty good sneakerhead. I seen a couple guys on the team, and I feel like the team we got a couple big sneakerheads on my officials, and I feel like I can and I like it too. I seen a couple sneaker collections. They were pretty nice, and I like that. But really, mainly I do is collect sneakers, work out, and just really hang out with friends, stuff like that. I don't really do too much.
What's your most valuable
favorite?
pair of sneakers? What's your most valuable pair of sneakers, and what's your favorite sneaker of all time?
Most valuable, probably my most valuable. That's a good question. Favorite sneaker all time? My favorite.
How many pairs do you have?
How many pairs? I have 25.
Okay.
I want to say 25. Most valuable, probably most expensive are my probably my Yeezys, my Power Black Yeezys. Those were, I think I paid like $1,000 for them.
Wow.
Good God.
$1,000. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
How
amazing.
rare are they?
Huh?
How rare are they? How rare of a shoe is that?
You can't buy them in stores. You can probably get them off like retail like stores like StockX or like GOAT. But if you try to buy them now, they're probably like $2,000-3,000. This shoe came out I was like in 6th grade. This shoe is old.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's amazing. It, guys, is amazing. I remember when Nike shoes were $30, and I believe it was 84 when Air Jordans came out. They went from $30 to $63. So to hear
I mean,
about a
there's
pair,
still shoes in that price range, Dave. But what he's talking about is very like collective, limited
Yeah.
run
Right.
sneakers that people collect, and a lot of that stuff's cool. I could never get into that, but I understand it. I get it because I do like collecting things, so I can identify with it.
Yeah, my dad got a crazy collection, so I think that's where I get it from.
Are you the guy that like waits in line at Foot Locker or for different shoe stores when, say, if a LeBron James, a new pair of LeBrons come out, or is that you, or you're just basically online like searching for shoes?
Yeah, I think I'm mainly online. I think when like my generation or three, I think that waiting in line stuff really kind of died down because there's so many raffles and trying to get the stores online. So I've never personally waited in line for a shoe. If I really need a shoe, I usually just pay the crazy price for it, or my dad has a sneaker plug that he can get it for me. So I personally never waited in line for one. But if it's a shoe that I really need and only way I can get it is the wait in line, I think I'll do it.
Isaiah, kind of transitioning back to football, just talk about, on the field, one of the ways you grow and, hone your craft and develop your game is by watching football and just, seeing what other defensive backs do the best at your position. So what are some of those, current DBs or maybe guys that in the past, like a Deion Sanders or someone that you really watch a lot of film of and use to help you perfect your craft?
NFL wise, I mainly watch Jair Alexander because I feel like he's one of the smaller DBs in the league, and and he's from Charlotte too. That's why I watch him. Yes, he's actually from the same area that I'm from, East Charlotte. So, I watch him a lot because he's kind of a smaller DB. I like how he works off man. So I took a couple off man techniques for him. Actually, college level, I've been watching J Mac this year for ECU. Because I've been watching all the games. I've been watching him a lot this year. He's been going crazy. And I like because he mainly undersized and he's still has a high grade, and his technique he used, he went all the picks he had. He made a lot of plays this year. So I try to take some of this things he do on the field, stuff like that. And when I see him around the campus, I try to pick his brain about the stuff he do on the field, before games, during the game. So the keys he used to make plays. So that's two people I mainly watch this year.
And Isaiah, we have one of our viewers, Jason Tyndall, who spent nearly 2 decades as a coach in the state of North Carolina in the high school ranks. He chimes in and says, IBM sounds like a real Pirate and great player with the right mindset. Already has that Pirate chip on his shoulder.
I want to thank you. That's a great compliment. Thank you. I've been locked in since July, since the day I committed. I've been locked in since July. So I've been a Pirate since day one. I ain't never thought anything different. So I can't wait. I just can't wait to be there on January 5th and really make it official.
That's really exciting. What are your thoughts? We'll have you obviously back on the show at various times, but what are your thoughts going in knowing that just that's a short period of time right after the holidays, bam, you're going to be you're already a Pirate, I know, but taking classes, being on campus, what are your thoughts going into your career here?
I'm just going to take it how I take everything else. I'm just going to go in, keep my head down. I'm just going to grind and try to use all the people in front of me, pick their heads, let them show me the ways. I'm just going to go in grind everything I can do, my schoolwork, and on the football field. I'm just going to grind. It's the only word I can really use in this situation.
Isaiah, thank you. With your love of shoes or being a sneakerhead, as Kyle said, just talk about, I know during the recruitment process, Coach Houston said that he and the staff, they didn't spend a ton of time on it, but they did address the elephant in the room with the NIL, the name, image, and likeness that went into effect this year, talking about some of the opportunities that are out there in a college town like Greenville, for future Pirates. So can you touch on it from that aspect, your recruitment?
I think it was the NIL thing. I think it was great. I think it was a great thing they did. I feel like players should be able to use their name now to get money. And I feel like Greenville, and me and my parents talked about that too. I feel like Greenville is college town. Greenville's all about ECU. So I feel like if I'm making plays in Greenville, man, I might be able to get a deal or have my name in a small town. So I'll be really, I might not be famous to the world, but I might be famous in Greenville. So that would be great.
No doubt. And you know that Adidas is where we're getting our jerseys from. Maybe when you sign in the NFL, you can get a Adidas deal. What do you think? Or maybe even, I guess you technically get one now, right?
Oh yeah. That would be great because I had a pair of Yeezys. On the day. That's Adidas. So
okay.
Adidas, that brand is great. And I played in Adidas cleats. I try to get a custom Adidas cleats because I know I'll be playing with them in college. So I like the Adidas cleats playing in this year in high school. So I can't wait.
Very excited to have you as a Pirate, man. I tell you what, it's going to be a lot of fun. I know you guys with the Crew 22. I think when we look back, and I can say this safely now, we look back on this class. We're going to talk about great things that you guys are going to bring to the table. And Isaiah, I wish you the best for the holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and look forward to having you on campus in January.
Thank you. I thank y'all all for having me on the show, man.
All right, no doubt. Have a good night. All right, appreciate Isaiah Brown Murray. And Bubba, we're rolling along here. The Crew 22 2022 East Carolina Recruiting Special here on the Sports Objective. Bubba, another great guest.
Absolutely, Dave. The Pirates had tremendous punting this year from John Young. John did such an excellent job. And then you also have Luke Larson and the rugby style that came in when the Pirates had a punt blocked against Cincinnati. Luke came in and averaged about 42 yards per punt. And right now, let's go out to, I'm assuming he's in Georgia now. And let's talk to David Chapeau. He's a transfer coming in from the Air Force Academy.
Hey, guys.
I've always loved Sorry,
Can you hear
brother.
me?
Yeah, we got you, Dave.
Okay. All right.
I always loved your work on the Chappelle Show, and glad to see you back on Netflix.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, we don't want to start out with the
I'm sure you
controversy.
hadn't heard that before.
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah, I would think.
like your name a lot, first off, and secondly, I'm glad that you're a Pirate. What made you transfer into Greenville?
Just really with John and with him leaving, with the spot opening up, and just kind of with the coaches, how trustworthy they are, kind of how they work with the kickers, let them do their own thing, don't really put much, I guess, input into it because they really trust. So I work with, and John does, and I think a couple other guys work with Dan Orner. He's a kicking coach in Charlotte. So they kind of really let him teach us things like that. So just opportunities opening up, just especially coming in as a transfer. I only have 3 years left, so it's like not, messing around, things like that.
I got a good question for you, at least for me, and forgive my ignorance. But you transferring into from the Air Force Academy.
Mm-hmm.
You always think of a military commitment, and you sign up for the military for X number of years. How does that work? When you're at the academy, I know you're not a soldier yet, but is transferring out of the academy just like transferring out of anywhere else?
Well, so that's where my situation was interesting, just because I went in 2019, so as a freshman, and then we played the 2019 season. Then in 2020, they had COVID. Well, I had a choice of whether staying for another semester and getting film, because they told us it was canceled, things like that, like the season was canceled. So we went home and opted out. But the issue with that is that at the end of your sophomore year, you have to sign into the military for a 5-year postgraduate commitment. So that was the real issue was, okay, do I really want to go into the military or do I not? So you can go for 2 years and then transfer, do whatever you want until you sign that commitment, the letter of commitment. And then it's 7-year commitment. So like junior, senior, and then 5 years after.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Okay, so you have a 2-year grace period to decide if you want to be in the Air Force. I guess the same would be for the Naval Academy and Army.
Exactly.
Citadel probably too. So that's interesting. That's something I was wondering about when I saw you transferring in from Air Force. I was wondering how that worked.
Yes, sir.
David, when you take a look at this recruiting class, we've had a chance to meet with a lot of the guys tonight, and one thing that really jumps out at me, and you heard Isaiah Brown Murray mention it, the prior guest, is that this group of guys loves football, and that that's something that really jumped out to me, because that's an incredible that's something you really want in your program. I mean, have you had a chance to meet a lot of the guys in this recruiting class, and what are your thoughts on the recent commitments?
I did a podcast the other day with, I think, Parker Moore and is it Shaundre Mims, right? With the 2 transfers. Yeah, those guys were cool, but not really much with anyone else. I've just kind of been in talk with John, things like that, just because of a player's perspective of how the program is and things like that. But just excited about how the program's going. Necessarily as a punter, it's good, but it doesn't really make a big difference in terms of just because it's always good to be on a winning program, things like that. But at the same time, if you're not, then you're going to play a lot. If you are, then it's kind of it's not going to really affect much things, but it is a good thing to have.
Yeah, the less we see of him, probably the better.
Yeah, exactly. That's where it's a good thing, to where the fans are like, oh, we don't see the punter much and scoring touchdowns, but if you see it a lot, may not be the scoreboard may not be well.
Well, I'll tell you one thing: if you don't believe that punting is very important, then obviously special teams is huge. And you guys, John and Luke, have been great and being a great weapon. You hear about switching the field.
To me, punter's part of the defense. That's how I always looked at it.
Yeah,
especially if you have a good one.
Yeah. Are you a good one?
I feel like personally I am, but so.
What's your? I mean, what's your average? I mean, I don't know how much you played at Air Force.
So I redshirted my freshman year, and then with the whole COVID thing, I opted out. But in high school, I averaged like 42, and then like 20 something, I think, or like 16 of my punts were inside the 20. 5 of them were inside the 5. I had one that went on like the 1/3 yard line, which was cool. But I feel like I can really pin them deep, long ball if needed, things like that.
David, you talked about some of the reasons you chose East Carolina, but take us back to when you were coming out of high school, before you chose Air Force. What other schools did you consider? And then before choosing East Carolina, what other schools did you consider when you were transferring?
So coming out of high school, I was in talks with Florida, and that was just an interesting situation, but it never really went anywhere. But with the Air Force Academy, I went on a visit, and I really liked it. I just throughout the process, I just kind of figured that this is not really what I wanted to do in terms of military, things like that. But coming out, I transferred in 2020, and then in terms of how things went with leaving the Air Force Academy, it took I wasn't taking classes in the fall because I opted out, and then I decided to turn in all the paperwork to get out in November of the Air Force Academy, and then they didn't wait. It took until March, just because of how long the military takes, things with that. So I wasn't taking classes for a full year. So I was getting recruited by Oklahoma to go play there. But just with things with eligibility, things like that, they didn't want to take a chance on a punter. So I kind of had to revamp for the summer. I was in talks with ECU through Dan and Iowa, North Carolina State, Clemson. But Clemson and North Carolina State kind of wanted to wait until later towards the winter. And I was like, well, then they're kind of not that serious. Iowa was just a little dicey, so it was just kind of the perfect situation with East Carolina.
David, talk about that very thing of being a punter. There's obviously not going to be a whole big room, a punter room, right? So talk about that. Being in the transfer portal, you talk about you have the whole issue of being in the Air Force, you have COVID. It sounds like you've had a lot on you. I mean, not try to be dramatic, but there's a lot of angles there and a lot of I's dotted, T's crossed. I hate to use that cliche, but you've had to jump through there's another one, through a lot of hoops there, so to speak. I guess now with obviously Coach Houston has a great reputation of knowing football players, and how does it feel now knowing that you've got your home now landed? Obviously the transfer portal has got to be nerve-wracking.
Yeah, and that was the biggest thing, was because I redshirted at Air Force, I had to get film. So what I would do is I would go out with my parents and we would get sets of 8 punts in a row that were really good. So it's really just kind of nice not having to go do that anymore and really having to go, do film, come home, things like that. Because I was reaching out to a good bit of 60, 70 schools every week that I was sending film to, and that's a bunch of coaches. So it's just kind of nice not having to stress about if I'm going somewhere or not, things like that, that I actually have a home and a place.
Yeah, and we're glad to have you. Everybody keeps talking about the transfer portal, and people talk about it like it's a real place, like you're really going into a portal, like it's this glowing orb, like the Dr. Pepper commercial. Mm-hmm. And have you seen the Dr. Pepper commercial where the punter steps out of the orb and transfer portal? And we're like, no, we don't want you. I really picture it like that. Like you guys are getting in a portal. You're walking into it. You're walking around in it, and it's like this place, and you're kind of like in purgatory, like in between heaven and hell, and you're waiting for somebody to come get you out of this portal. And is it scary in there?
I guess it would. The easiest representation of it would be is if you didn't have any offers and you were going into your senior year of high school, and then kind of like after all the signing periods happen, then you're kind of left with, I don't know what to do. And it's trying to reach out to coaches, things like that, get yourself out there, make yourself valuable compared to everyone else.
Yeah.
And it's just an interesting thing because I was at home. It's like, when you go to college, but then I just came back home. I've been working out with a trainer and kicking with my parents. So it's just kind of like, it's just interesting. But just in terms of now able to go play with somewhere, things like that, just because I've kind of been out of 2 seasons realistically, just because I opted out in 2020 and then now with 2021. But I did make that decision of, okay, because I had an offer from Bowling Green to go in the fall, but I just really didn't know if I really wanted to go up there and things like that. But so I made a decision to kind of forego a year of eligibility in order to kind of find where I wanted to play. Just in terms of with the summer, but it's just kind of a real thing of you do have to make yourself valuable if you didn't already make yourself valuable in like while you were playing. And there's a lot of people out there that I guess kind of are in the same spot as you. So there's a lot of competition out there.
Hey, David, question for you. You hear great basketball players, they talk about they get up between 300 and 500 shots a day. What's life like as a punter? What are you trying to accomplish each day? Do you try to get 100 punts a day or a certain number per week? Like what does that structure look like?
No, so that's what I've kind of really been thinking about a lot with Kobe, and just because I've always heard that he worked out like 4 times a day, and because he had more practice and more reps, he was able to grow and become better than most people in the league. So I was like, how on earth would you apply that to punting? But realistically, my coach, I only hit about 60 balls whenever I go out, whenever like I'm on full go. And it's about 4 days a week. So it's like, what do you do after? I do a lot of drops in the house. I bet my parents are going crazy because they just hear thud after thud after thud. And then I'm just doing a lot of taps with my brother. So it's kind of like touch work with your shot with basketball. Because if you're feeling good with your shot, it's more of it's just making sure it feels good off the contact, because it's the exact same thing every time. It's not like you're going to be throwing a curveball. You're literally
like muscle memory. Yeah,
muscle memory. Dropping the ball to yourself. So if it doesn't feel good, it's not gonna.
And then a follow up to that, David. What's it look like in terms of weight training for your legs? Do punters do a lot of weight training for the legs, squats, things like that?
Yeah, I've really been learning a lot just in terms of with the trainers I'm at right now. These are some local guys, but to where you have to do both stretch, keeping that flexibility, but at the same time, a lot of speed work and a lot of strength training, but getting as strong as you can realistically, because I always kind of thought it was you don't want to get too strong because then that makes you slow. But then that necessarily, if you look at track sprinters, things like that are doing 100 meters, these guys are huge. So that's not really the case. With mini punters, you got some dudes that are like 6'7", so their pendulum just is quick. So, but I mean, I'm 6'1", so it's not really. So I kind of really have to, I guess, work at it a lot more in terms of getting leg speed, things like that. But we're actually doing 3 rep maxes this week, but just, I don't know, just put as much weight as I can on the bar without hurting myself, to be honest.
Yeah, David, to your point, as far as the drops and leg swing, those things that the punter can work on, like you mentioned, just walking around the house. I was a punter myself, and, a lot of folks, you hear those comparisons between punting and then a golf swing or kicking and a golf swing. There are a lot of similarities there. Are you a straight line punter, and are you more of a rugby guy?
I'm more of a traditional dude. I can do everything, though. More just directional with just trying to get as much hang with distance. But I feel like I can do all the other things that is needed. It just takes some work, with it just on the field and just kind of getting comfortable with doing those things.
And you talk about, some of the, I don't know, I guess the philosophy there and just the mindset between, hanging it up or, coffin corner in it. And in my opinion, the coffin corner is kind of a lost art. You don't see that a whole lot anymore. You see the nose down drop, and you're trying to hang it up and get that favorable roll and obviously allow the coverage team to down it.
Yeah, and I especially see that with it's just coffin corner is so difficult to control just because I can hit a turnover ball, but it'll roll like 20 yards sometimes. And with the wind, if you're trying to hit a specific spot, but the wind is going a lot because there are different layers with the wind. So if it's going, then it can push it off direction into the middle of the field. And I think a lot of guys, something that I especially see that I kind of would love to do if the coverage is there, but there was the Florida guy. There was a Florida punter. I think it was Tommy Townsend. He would wait a couple seconds and let his guys get down the field and then go, just because with the Aussie, you can just go real quick. So, I mean, I would love to do that, but just I think with those, it's more of you're trying to get the backspin, but usually average of about 8 yards roll kind of expected for that Aussie. So you're just trying to put it inside the 10 as close as you can.
David, did you happen to see the punt yesterday from the I just happened to see it on social media, the punter from South Carolina State? He punted it literally like one yard behind the line of scrimmage because it said I got an alert on my phone and said, how about a fake punt? So it looked like he was going to take off running rugby style, and then he drilled it there about a yard behind the line and ended up booting it 75 yards into the end zone for a touchback, but obviously still netted 55.
That's kind of nice too, just because you think about it, we're 15 yards back, 14 and a half with some guys. So that's an extra 15 yards on your punt. So it's like realistically it would have been a 60-yard punt, but it's like you get that nice boost, And
another follow-up to that very quickly, Matt, talk about you talk about dealing with elements like the wind, which is obviously an uncontrollable. One of the things that, as a punter, I always did when it was windy, you lower your drop to have not a low kick, but a little bit lower kick where it's going to knife through the wind. So, and just talk about some of the things that go into that as a punter, when you're working with your coaching staff.
Yeah, just with that, especially, I talked with John of what he likes to do with Coach Doust, and he said just kind of he likes to push it as close to the sideline as he can in terms of wind coming at his face and about 40 yards. So you have to realize that you are not going to get a lot of hang, but at the same time, if you push it as close to the sideline as you can and get it away from the returner, that gives you the best shot of not getting it returned. But with the wind at your back, it also honestly depends on how strong it is. Because if it's super strong, you can just kick it like a rugby, like a kickoff, where you get that up and over, and it'll sail because there's more ball. I guess there's more area for the wind to hit.
David, one of the questions I had was we know obviously your punting skills Have you ever had an opportunity to, in addition to punting, have you done any place kicking, or is it just straight up just punting?
Freshman year, I had a couple of opportunities just because they needed a kicker for the freshman team in high school, but nothing really much more to that. I am currently learning kickoff, things like that, and just more weapons in my wheelhouse in terms of, because I see a trend with NFL. A lot of these punters are able to kick off, and that gives them more opportunities. So if I can work on it now and have 3 years to go, then I'm good,
Yeah, God forbid that we have anything happen to
Exactly.
Owen Daffer, but if it does, it's nice to have. We've had that in the past where the punter will step in. So I just had that just came to mind, and I hadn't thought about that. But not that we want anything to happen to Owen, but
yeah,
if God forbid, but if it did, you got to have the next man up mentality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yes, sir.
David, thank you so much. We won't keep you. I appreciate you coming on. I'm very happy that you chose to be a Pirate. We're looking forward to having you in the purple and gold. And Matt being a former player, and Jay Sonnhalter, Sonny coming back on, former players. Welcome to Pirate Nation, and I look forward to talking to you again soon in 22.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, hope you have a great night. All right, appreciate David Chappelle there. Definitely not. He's a funny guy, but definitely not Dave Chappelle. Sorry that I didn't get that reference. How Chappelle and Chappelle are not that close. But anyway, Matt, Semenza, Jay back here on the panel as we wrap this thing up, guys. Bubba, I got to tip I don't have a hat on. I don't have my sports objective hat on or the established 32 hat on. But I tell you what, my hat's off to you, brother. This has been a great show, and I appreciate you very much. I know you worked really, really hard the last few days. Matt said, hey, let's do a special, guys, on recruiting. And you put it all together. It's like a ABC, ESPN kind of guy. So I know I've said that a lot, but I'm sincere when I say that. I know it's been a real labor of love for you.
Yeah, no doubt. Enjoyed hearing what those guys, had to say as far as just why they chose to become a Pirate, and everything that they experienced when on their official visits, and just why East Carolina was appealing to them.
As former players for you guys, I coach football but not played it, obviously. But for you guys, what jumps out with you with the three guys here with the panel? I think for me personally, I can start it off. Just we talked about them being good citizens. That's important to me. I really do care about, even though it's a wins and loss business. I get that, but these guys are going to do more than play football, and I'm teaching my kids about that now, my son and daughter, about being good citizens. So that's something that is very important to me. And also, it seems like, guys, I know it's maybe the same thing happen every year, but it seems like these guys are very close, which means that I feel that could, not always, but that could breed success in years to come when this class is really going to be, the upperclassmen.
Yeah, as far as what stood out to me, I would say, the offensive line, the emphasis there, and that's an area, even though there's been a tremendous amount of improvement, otherwise you wouldn't have had a 1,000-yard rusher for the first time in 8 years with Keaton Mitchell. First one since way back in 2013 was Tay Cooper, when he ran for, I think, about 1,300 yards or something. But nice to have Keaton Mitchell and that instant offense that he provides. And then you had a guy like Rajay Harris that had, 500-600 yards. And between those two, we ran for over 1,700 yards this year. Is something that hasn't been done in a long, long time. But in addition to those two, and then talking about the emphasis on the offensive line, and you lose some of those pieces, but you have very talented, and in some cases like Parker Moore, proven guys coming in that can not only play but potentially start, as Coach Houston stated, from day one. So that's promising. And then you continue to build that running back room, tremendous with the guys I've already mentioned. You have Pop McKay as well as others already on campus, and then you're bringing Nemo, Squire, and then also Marlon, Gunn into the mix. So, continuing to develop there, and because we know it's no secret, Coach Houston's he's going to run the football or die trying, and that's I say die trying. That's a little extreme, but I mean there's an extreme commitment there to run the football. He has proven that he'll throw the football when he has to, like last year against SMU to win the game. I'm not saying that, but he does have that desire to run the football, and we're on our way to doing just that.
No doubt. And Jay, you can hop in next, and then I'll give my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is just talking to these guys. It brings me back, like all the different personalities, or them talking about playing video games, or just hearing some of the guys maybe more funny and some are more serious. It brings me back to the relationship that we had in college with different guys and different players, and just how fun it is for these guys once they all get together. I mean, it's going to be exciting for them, the ones that are coming in January and everybody else that's coming in the fall, for them to get together as a class and go to college together. So that's going to be a special thing. And for them, I mean, the other thing is the ones that are coming in January, it's a couple weeks away, but they're going to be, starting on the bottom and having to work their way up. So it's going to be a big adjustment, and there's talented, every school thinks they've got the best class, but once everybody gets on campus and really from this point forward, it's going to be about how hard they work and how they gel, and how they play as a team. That's going to determine how successful they are.
Now, Jay, you were obviously – go ahead, man, if you have a follow-up.
Oh, no, I was just going to say I totally agree with that. It's, once you get on campus, it's all about the work ethic and how committed you are to the program. And, so I totally agree with all the comments that you guys had so far. And, my thoughts on it are it really makes me think of the progression of this program. And, when Mike Houston first started here, how do you even begin recruiting in that situation? We were down to 68 scholarship players. He had to recruit vast and wide. He was trying to plug so many holes because that's really where we were at that point. And now we're getting to the point where we can start to recruit according to need, right? So we don't need to go out and recruit 10 defensive linemen because we have some depth there. Now we can say, hey, maybe we need a corner. Maybe we need a field corner. Maybe we need a slot wide receiver. This class, they address the offensive line. And, what I want to say too is they're not done. They're not even close to done. They're going to continue to work the transfer portal. I apologize for the dog in the background. They're going to look for grad transfers. They're going to work the portal. And I really think by the time it's all said and done, we're going to wind up with one, possibly two more offensive linemen that can contribute next year.
No question about it. You guys, I tell you what, it's amazing the transformation of this program that Houston did. In the big scheme of things, people, we talked about how I said earlier at the very, very beginning of the special, that I'm glad that Mike Houston didn't microwave things, but things have turned around quickly compared to what it could have taken for other coaches that it feels like it was microwave. But now, like you said, great point, Matt, about the fact that we can really, he was having to take a lot of, the coaches were having to take a lot of chances on players, where now if you only have a handful of players that you really have to focus on, you can be very choosy, right, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, you can, the biggest thing is really getting a lot of background on these guys and building relationships with them 1 and 2 years out. So it's not just a film decision or, a quick relationship. You have an opportunity there where they can start building relationships for next year's class right now. And I think anytime you can do that, you can target who you want, and then you have a better chance of getting them and kind of figuring out who's going to fit into your program the earlier out you get started on it.
No question about it. Looks like great class with the Crew 22, the 2022 signing class for East Carolina. And I know, guys, it's going to be great. We'll actually have more from. We've got a couple more players we're going to talk to, right, Bubba? They couldn't be here tonight.
Yeah, and we were going to have Brock Spalding as well as CJ Mims, the brother of Shaundre Mims. We'll have those two for you in the coming days. So stay tuned for that on our YouTube channel. And final thing that I had for Jay before we promote the upcoming content and get out of here is Jay, obviously you were on campus on Wednesday for National Signing Day and had the opportunity to interact with Coach Houston, Coach Harrell, Coach Kirkpatrick, and the rest of the staff. So what were some of those things that maybe were shared that were okay to share with us and, not necessarily private information, but we didn't see it on the ESPN Plus broadcast?
Well, I think everybody's just excited, but I think the thing that you see kind of firsthand when you're there is how hard those guys work, and how, especially getting up to signing day, how they're going on visits, getting ready for bowl preparation. I mean, they are busy and they're working hard, and it's when you see it firsthand, it really kind of puts the importance on finishing strong here in the recruiting and that work ethic that they put into it, and just kind of seeing it all happen live, getting all the commitments everybody signed on that day. You can just kind of see the excitement because they've been working so hard at it, plus getting ready for the bowl game. So, I mean, I would say that's the biggest takeaway I had was just, how hard they worked, the excitement of the bowl, and then also too, they know what they're targeting. And so like each guy that they have, yeah, I mean, everybody has talent, but they know already how they want to use them, and they're excited for them to come in so they can start to develop them.
No question. Very excited about this class, obviously. And Bubba, we talked about we'll have CJ Mims and Brock Spalding, who will also be a part of this class. And thank you, Mark Calloway. Appreciate you. Says, great show tonight, guys. Watching on YouTube. By the way, fans, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That YouTube channel is growing. It's maybe not Mr. Beast numbers, but who has those kind of numbers? But really proud of all of the content that's on there. Really proud of this show, and certainly make sure you like our Facebook page. You can follow us by the way, on Twitter at the Sports OBJ or Instagram at the Sports Objective. And Jay, brother, thank you so much. I know that you've had a really, really busy week. Matt, he's got his normal duties, his day job, and then his night and weekend job, the Weekend Warrior, a thing called ESPN. So he's had a lot on his plate this week. Thank you, man. Sonny, you're awesome. Want to wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and don't be a stranger. You're always welcome, man.
Well, you guys are more busy than me, I guarantee you. you guys are awesome. And Merry Christmas. I will be on any and every time that I can. And I'll give you a call, David Bubba, tomorrow.
Sonny, are you gonna be able to head up to Annapolis?
I'm hoping to. Yeah, I'm hoping to.
Sounds good. No, certainly look forward to hopefully seeing you up there. The Sports Objective team will be there. And as far as some of our upcoming content, Dave, on Tuesday, we'll have a couple of tremendous shows for you. Hopefully we'll be talking about win number 9 for East Carolina basketball with Southern Miss, that old nemesis on the football field. And we have had more success against the Golden Eagles on the basketball court down through the years. But look forward to that as I will be in Minges with Gabe Mikulus. Excellent Pirate, one of the better front court players we have had. Helped produce a couple of upsets over number 9 Marquette back in 2002. But Gabe will be in attendance with my dad and I, and then definitely look forward to also catching up with Rick Minner. Coach Minner, longtime college football coaching veteran, spent several years, very good years at Cincinnati before they elected to part ways with Coach. But that has somewhat that relationship has definitely been mended, and those people that opted to make that decision to part ways with Coach Minner have moved on, and he's back pulling for the Bearcats. He was there for the championship game, and he will be in attendance down at the Cotton Bowl as Cincinnati looks to make history, or continue to make history, I should say, as they've now broken into the playoff and look to hopefully knock down that door and get into the championship game with a landmark win over Alabama.
Hey, Matt, I know we said we're not going to bet against, and Jay, we're not going to bet against Nick Saban. Can you imagine that press conference if Cincinnati pulls off the Cinderella of, that would be, wouldn't you guys say that would be that's got to be the biggest upset in football as far as like that level? Not like, I would say probably App State going to the Big House is right up there as far as a regular college football game. But man, that would be, we'll talk more about that. I know we don't have a lot of time, but that would be unbelievable to see a $9 million coach have to explain why you lose to Cincinnati, even though we know they're a great team. And these talking heads who automatically think Cincinnati is going to lose by, 3-4 touchdowns or more. I don't even know what the line is. That would be incredible. So we'll see how that all plays out when it gets closer. And coach is great. Coach Minter's fantastic. Look forward to having that. And by the way, folks, again, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, because that's how you know when we have our great programming. You get the alerts. I want to thank Bubba Rosenbaum, dude. Again, thank you so much for your hard work. Kyle from LaGrange had to go. Jay, thanks, dude. And Semenza, man, you're the best. Appreciate you. And look forward to working with you guys in the next couple of days. So until next time, you've been watching Crew 22. It's the official show we have here tonight, and that's for the signing class for the East Carolina Pirates. Good night, everybody, and always, as always, go Pirates.